Welcome, podcast fans. It's time for the What's Up Bro podcast show presented by J&J Production Studios, the home for all your entertainment needs. All kinds of great topics discussed every week, a variety of different themes offered, special guest appearances, prize giveaways, and so much more. Stay tuned. And now, here are your hosts, Sam Crow and Big Hoss.
Well, hello, good evening, everybody. Happy Saturday, one and all. So sorry, I know you probably missed us. We were not here last night. We apologize for that. We had a crazy busy week, lots of things happening. But if you've been following us, and I shared this, we did a bonus episode the other day of the new podcast we had there and mentioned this. But I'll say it again here. We promised and we've delivered. We are making it up to you guys tonight. Tonight we have a very special episode. We have some great surprises we're going to share here. First of all, again, welcome. It is I, Sam Crow, here. Your number one home for entertainment is, of course, J&J Production Studios, where lots of magical, fun things happen, and we always have a good time. Big Hoss is joining us, as always. How are you, Big Hoss?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
Very, very good. So our first surprise for the evening, you guys might not be too shocked. You've heard him before. He's been here, but we have added him as a special guest co-host here. When he's available, he will show up. He decided to join us tonight. You know him and love him, Mr. Austin and Emma from Orange Moon Project. What's up, man?
Not much, man. How's everybody doing?
We're good. And I told Austin ahead of time, the rule here is when we join the cast here, you have to have your own moniker, which we've already given to him. He had no choice. So henceforth, you shall be known as Mr. Bass or Mr. B. We can call you for short. That will be your Batman icon here, so if anybody needs to know, not that it's a secret because they've seen you anyway, but it's still kind of fun. So he's joining us tonight because we have some other special guests joining us. If you didn't follow us on social media, shame on you, because we've been advertising this. This was a impromptu edition, but we're super excited and grateful for. And this is their first podcast appearance, which we're also thankful for. We get to... what does that saying go? We get to launch you guys, I guess, if you want to put it that way, to get you experience into the podcasting world and experience a new audience here. Let's cue up our applause meter here. But welcome to the show for the first time, based out of New Jersey. Not everybody's here, but a couple of members are. But we welcome the Cellar Dwellars band. Give them a hand, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, standing room only. Look at that. There we go. I'm kidding. Virtual, you get the point. But welcome, guys. Thank you so much for being here. It's really great. We're looking forward to this. Hope you guys are. You excited? Not nervous? Please, if you get sick, that's fine. It adds to our views anyway, so it's just better for us. But welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, we're happy to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. We got so many fun things we're going to talk about tonight. And as you guys know, we usually do a few announcements, which I wasn't going to do any, but I do want to preface this. We have a bit of a schedule change. We have another special guest that's going to appear due to my inadaptivity of being the secretary as well. I mixed up the dates and times, so I will post updates on social media. That will probably change for the announcement for next weekend, but that'll come at a later time. Just a FYI for you guys. We'll post that later on. But that's all we got. That's all we're going to start with. So how we do this, since the gentlemen here are new to us here, what we ask our newest people that come on here to do, and obviously we're going to talk about the band, the music, that's kind of the theme for tonight. For you guys specifically, since it's just a couple of you that representing the band here, tell us a little bit about yourselves, tell us your name, where you're from, anything that you want people to know about you personally, what's relevant, and then we're going to dive into the music and stuff later on. So tell us, who are you guys? What are you doing here? Let us know. What are you about?
So my name's Olaf. I play guitar. I do the vocals, and I am sort of the front man of the group. Mm-hmm. I take a lot of pride in the trust that the guys have instilled in me to sing, because when we started this group, I had never envisioned myself to sort of be like the singer or the front man.
Okay.
But throughout the time that we've spent together, they've pushed me and they've let me grow into that role. So I'm really, really thankful for that. But as far as I'm concerned with them, I am the newest member of their group.
Ah, okay.
Right. So I met everybody in North Warren. We went to North Warren Regional High School, and
Mm-hmm.
the other guys, they were all in the jazz band rhythm section.
Okay.
And I had been playing guitar. I was playing with my dad's wedding band
Okay.
for the longest time. And I was like, it would be super cool to get together with a group of guys that are my
Yeah.
age,
Yep.
that aren't like, over the age of 40 and 50.
Preach it,
And
brother. I've been there myself a long time ago. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, and go out and just for fun during at least our last 2 years of high school, perhaps maybe play some bars and maybe even, make some money to put gas in our tank.
That's exactly. I'm telling you, you guys are like, this is like deja vu because that's when I started playing way back when. It was the same thing. Even our motto was if I could find guys that wanted to play, we'll play for soup or we'll play for food. Even if
Right.
it's just at a restaurant, we don't care. You don't have to pay us. Just pay. We'll pay you to let us play. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
well, that's awesome. That's great, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. And who else do we have with us here?
Yeah, my name's Adam. I also play guitar. I
Okay.
was, as he said, I was in the rhythm section, and I provide my house for the practices that we do.
Very important. Yep.
We're very, this is like our central location here.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed working with Olaf and everybody else for like the past couple of years because we never, like, I don't know, it's a different experience than being in the school band.
Oh yeah, yeah.
To go in your own direction. And now we've branched out to Olaf's house now. We've been doing some recording over there, so that's
Okay.
exciting. But we play the bars and we're having fun with it. I think it's going good.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I mean, and we did our homework, and obviously I have been chatting quite a bit tonight with Nicole. She's fantastic. She helped us get everything situated there. But just seeing, and it's the same thing. I know that we talked about with Austin when you were on last time, like with you guys, and actually he mentioned us about you guys there as well, which piqued our interest. And we said to him, yeah, we'd love to. Our preface, what we do at the show here is when we have the opportunity to have unique people come on, and we've had plenty of different ranges from small business owners. I've had friends that are entrepreneurship. We've had one. We're having another professional MMA fighters coming on talking about things. So we try to showcase unique people with unique talent, and obviously with music. For bands that are trying to, make a name or trying to be up and coming there, we'd like to use this platform to help showcase that. We had another group on recently, or actually we had the lead singer on recently, who I shared with Austin beforehand. We're actually going to, she was gracious enough, I asked her, because we tend to take our commercial break periodically, I asked her if we could play their songs during the break, and she was nice enough to send me the MP3s, which is awesome. Their music is fantastic. Just a small band based out of Texas. They've been playing some shows. They're trying to, make a name there too. And the following is slow, but we try to be that extra push for giving you guys, opening up doors, windows, because we have a pretty decent reach throughout the U.S. and parts of the world. We joke, but we say if you ever do get super famous, just make sure you mention us once in the blue moon in your rock and roll acceptance speech, if you would.
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding. No, it's fine. We expect our name on the platinum. No, I'm kidding. We like to help launch that way, and the more exposure we can do, the better. And we did doing that with Orange Moon Project, and we'd love to do that for you guys. So, which is really exciting. And we had a lot of listeners who we see the growth with these special shows where we have guests come on, and obviously you guys are advertising on social media is wonderful for that, but it's just kind of nice to help intertwine and mingle and reach a bit broader spectrum there, which is what we try to do as well. But
Yeah, absolutely.
it's super fun. It's super fantastic. So I know Mr. B's got some questions, so we'll get to you. But he's new on the block here too, so he's got to wait his turn. I'm gonna start. Yeah, I know. Just because I give you preferential treatment, but you still have to earn your stripes here. But so
Understood.
I'm gonna start with the first question. Now this is gonna be an obvious question, and you guys can answer in tandem. Whoever wants to answer this, and this is gonna be very simple. But so give us the maybe more so Adam if Olaf's new, but you might know the story now by now. Anyway, give us the origin story. How did the Cellar Dwellers become the Cellar Dwellers? How did it go? What happened? Give us your your rockumentary biography, if you will. Go ahead.
Me and my three other buddies from the rhythm section,
Mm-hmm.
Nathan, the drummer, Ryan plays bass, and Jack's on the keys. We had been wanting to do a band for a while,
Okay.
but our dilemma was none of us wanted to sing, and none of us really had played out anywhere before. So
Yeah,
when
fair.
you know, we sort of just let it go as like an idea, and we
Okay.
never really took it further than that. And so when Olaf had come to us and said he wanted to start something, and his dad was in these wedding bands, and his dad had this experience already, so he's been out there and sort of been around the block a couple times. We
Light
took,
bulb. Mm-hmm.
we took advantage of that, and he said he would sing, and so he sort of, I think, tied everything together,
Yep.
pushed us a little bit to get where we had wanted to be.
I think that the funniest part of the whole story was that the first time that we ever played something as a group was in this at the school for this like
Yeah.
holiday
Of
uh
course.
like holiday like showcase.
Sure.
It was kind
Yep.
of like whatever talent show,
Mm-hmm.
and we covered Please Come Home for Christmas.
Oh, of course.
Even.
Yep.
And at that time I didn't even sing it. um
Oh,
I didn't even sing it. It wasn't
Yeah.
me, but
Oh,
it's really funny to have sort of, at least now, seen how that's sort of changed and progressed. And I mean, at least for us as a group and as a unit, that the opportunity of performing at our school functions was a very, very important piece of kind of us like working
yeah.
out, playing together and
Yep.
what we're gonna play and all that. And I mean, I have to plug that the North Warren the music department faculty were just beyond helpful in like providing a space for us to do that.
Yeah.
It was
No, that's awesome. I mean, and it gives you that foundation. Again, there's the comfort level because it's almost like the training for the real world. So you have sort of in the comfort of, okay, maybe one day, and I'm just going to use this as a teaser there. You play like the Shea Stadiums. You play a 50,000 fan arena there. By the
Okay.
time you get there, you have the groundwork of you should get those jitters out. Because I will say, I got tasked to do. I can understand where Olaf's coming from. I was tasked to do a lot of vocals there, which kind of was hard because I was the drummer for the band. It's kind of hard to do both. So I tried to delegate that to someone else. So not because I didn't want to do it. It's just and then they also relied on me completely for the rhythm section and to cover the timing.
Right.
Which if I
Right.
mess up, it screwed everybody up. But it was always challenging when a couple shows we played a couple, like nothing major, but it's always that fear of just being up on stage. I didn't never like to be up on stage myself, and I've done solo work before, but I just didn't. I always found it intimidating, maybe to some extent, but and which is also nice because obviously drums are back in the rear, not front center. So I like being
Right.
back there. I put the other guys and say, "Here you go." The guitarist friend I had said, "You're the front man. Here you go. Stand right in front of me." So I could literally not be seen but be heard. But when you have that and you build that connection, and a lot, especially in a music program like that, I'm all for that. And it's unfortunate that a lot of music programs in some areas they just don't have
Yeah.
that level of the level to dedicate to that. And of course, a lot of school districts too, a lot of budgets get cut, so a lot of school programs just don't have the tools they need. Because I feel like if that was the case, there'd be a lot more kids probably like you guys coming out that
Absolutely.
got off the ground running, had that doorway like just fly right open, So, but that's really awesome. That's really important. And when you develop, the biggest hardship is, and especially if, in your case, being the new guy coming on, is obviously developing that chemistry and coming into it. Even the guys that are, the rest of you guys have known each other, you've been there, so trying to gel in a manner of speaking, which if you have similar views and your similar styles there, it's usually not super hard, but it's always hard coming in and stuff. But what is those feelings like? Like, what was it like when you started? Like, what were those first few moments, those few practices, even the interactions with the band? Like, how did it feel like when you guys were really trying to gel? What was that like for you?
Well, for me, I think that I sort of had to grow into this role of kind of, one, being a leader, but two, prior to that, I didn't just want to show up and assume that I was going to be the one that was going to take the helm and sort of, help push
Good
everybody in the
plan.
direction.
Yeah, you don't want to be the diva. Good idea.
No,
Yeah.
I don't want to be. I didn't want to be that guy.
Yep.
And so I think that at least throughout my time, starting to play with these dudes, I've had to earn the respect.
Sure.
And I think that most of that respect has come out of the product. So when when we're up there and we're all playing, like sitting in this basement for 4 hours and learning all these intricate parts of songs, is really grueling. But let me tell you, it feels great once you get up there and you nail it really good, and people are like, "Dude, that was awesome."
Yep.
I think that that's really where it comes full circle, and I think that through things like that, that's kind of how I've sort of found my niche in this group. And I mean, other than that, I try to. I always try to keep, kind of an open forum so that everybody always has a say. Yep. And there have been songs, and I know that I always laugh about this with Nathan, is, like he'll say like a month in advance, he'll be like, "Oh my God, we should totally play this song." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know if people are going to like that." And then 3 months later, I'm like, "Hey, we should totally play this song."
Yep.
And then he's like, "Dude, I totally told you that we should have played that." But I think that in the end, I think that the guys, we've spent a whole lot of time together down here and out playing, and it's been really, really cool to have that kind of a chemistry with the group.
Well, that's awesome. Okay, well now let's for fun here, not to embarrass Olaf, let's flip the script. So from Adam representing the tenured members of the band, what are your impressions then from Olaf, what he says, what he brought to the table? How do you guys see him when he came in and you started to develop and do those things?
I think whether he was planning on it or not, we all sort of expected him to come in and be the leader because none of us wanted to do it. So I think whatever happened, it was going to happen eventually.
Okay.
And I don't know, I think it went together really well. I think we all have become very good friends outside of the band too. Like, I think that's a big part of like playing together as a group. You sort of have to be able to coexist outside of that setting.
Yep.
And so when we're out, a lot of times before we play big shows, we'll go and get breakfast. That's a big one.
Yeah, we'll go to the same diner every time.
Well, that's the most important meal of the day, so may as well start off on the right foot, right? So there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna sneak out for the night, guys.
Are you gonna head out? All right, dude. We'll catch you later then. Thanks for here. So that's interesting too, because one of the things that and a lot of groups don't talk too much about is the camaraderie factor. There's some of these bands that, and there's plenty of backstory documentary they've been interviewed, saying like we just get together, we don't connect outside of here. When we show up, we're just being professional, like, we just some guys like really don't care for each other, but they just try to be professional and they do what they have to do, but then once it's all said and done, they just leave and they're like, you know what, like we do what we have to do, even whether it's playing live or studio sessions. We show up and do our part, then we have to bail out because I don't want to be with this guy. It's not outside of that. Like we're work friends. We're not buddies outside of here. So, and I think it's disappointing because especially like when you see a lot of these bands like the Stones, these guys that have been around for decades, okay, and the Bee Gees are one of my favorites. That's old school. But, you see
absolutely.
The decades of, obviously they're brothers, so that's a little bit different, although it's kind of hard not to like your brothers, but I suppose family does have trauma. But you see the testament when groups like that can, and even like, I know Aerosmith now is finally retiring, it happens. But and they've even said there were issues there, but they had enough willpower and enough respect at least to keep things together. Of course, there's other groups that either they don't make it, they fall apart. I'm a big Beatles fan there, so you know how the story goes there for that. Just creative differences tore things apart. It just naturally happens. Same thing, even the bands I put together. It starts off well, but there's either a creative difference or the biggest issue I had was, well, I'm not the front man, I'm just the drummer, so I shouldn't mean anything. And I said that, well, that's what happens, but since I was the one that formed the band, technically I'm the one that started the whole thing, so it's it's kind of that whole. So it's nice to hear that, because if you can start off like that and like you guys are doing, it's just going to grow even more. I believe that. And the same thing we talked with, with Mr. B's band there with Orange Moon Project, he's same thing, walking in and, just trying to gravitate, which I embarrassed him plenty last time. And hopefully you're still with the band though, right? They didn't kick you out, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, I'm still there.
Okay, that's what I thought. We're gonna embarrass you at some point where they're gonna write more songs about you. But I have a whole list for that for another time. But but so I kid. We've known each other a long time too. So I like to bust them here. And since you're the new guy, since you're the newbie here, I like to pick on you live on the air because I can't. It's my show. But anyway, so it's great to hear that, and hopefully as things go, and the music will be there, but the bonds will be there, and hopefully you're going to have moments where you're not going to always get along, but hopefully you can resolve that, and it doesn't become a whole it's not a love-hate fest to where you guys just you can at least come and talk to each other and figure these things out. But and speaking of that too, that's where I'm leading to that question of if you have, and I don't know, maybe you've had some of these, for lack of a better term, drama or moments where there was tension or might be some disagreements there. If you have, or if you do go there, how would you guys want to approach that? Let's say maybe one of you or a couple of you, maybe there's an issue that pops up. To prevent a forest fire, how would you want to handle that for you guys?
So I mean, we've had a couple instances where we've disagreed about a couple things, and I think none of it has been crazy major or whatever. Nothing that's like threatening the group, the togetherness of the group or whatever like that. But I always try to not only like be that leader, but usually if anybody's got a problem with anything, it's because of something that's going on, like when we're either playing or like with the set choice or like how things are moving or whatever like that. So at least for me, I always just I try to be open and like facilitate the conversation, because I don't want to be the only guy that has a say in what happens when we go on stage or like when we're playing or like especially in terms of writing originals. Like I don't want to be the guy that just lays it all down and says, well, this is how we're going to do it. So I mean, at least for me, I think my biggest thing is at least interacting with the dudes. Like if somebody like disagrees about something, like I always tell everybody, I say, like, you can always like just tell me that I'm doing something wrong and I'll facilitate it, because I don't want to feel like there is that like barrier where it's suddenly like not that they should like be afraid to come forth about that. But I think that in like a less serious manner, a lot of our biggest emotional debacles have been across the table playing Magic the Gathering, the card game.
Okay.
So as part of our camaraderie, that's really where we spend most of our time yelling at each other. It's sitting across the table throwing cards.
Yeah, so that's okay. So you're giving me the Mayberry answer. Okay, this is not like the blood feud where this is threatening, like to Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, here's an interesting point though. Let me ask you then too, because again, I very much, when I had the band, I approached it was the same thing. The rule was I might be CEO because I founded it, but we all have it's a democratic process of
absolutely
how it works. And at the time, my one friend that played the rhythm and did the guitar part, he wrote most of the songs, which I said we would always practice wise we collaborate with. He'd ask opinions for that, and I'm like, listen, I can give you some insights. I'm just on percussion there, but I would just give you some feedback for ideas. Like if the music is good for you, just make sure you're comfortable with the music. And like we collaborated mostly on the lyrical part. That's where he kind of was having a hard time. So I'm like, all right, well, you provide the music, I'll help you with the lyrics. And we actually did write a couple of songs that we were pretty proud of. They mutated a few times because it was one of those. We tried to nail it down, and then he would say to me, we have the song, we'd practice it, and then he would go later on, he'll text me and say, you know what, I'm not sure about that one verse line. I think I want to try. Whatever you want to do. Like, just, I have the big book, I'll write it down, so there wasn't much of too much of conflicting there. But why do you think, though, that it's so difficult, like you said, you want people to come to you and be open about it. Why do you think for a lot of bands and stuff, like we see the hardships of it, and I'm going to pose this. Do you suppose it's an ego thing? Like, what is the reason? Why do these conflicts happen where the guys just can't just talk to each other and work it out? Is it just purely ego? Is it purely creative difference? Do you guys have an opinion? What do you think? Why do you think there's this issue with groups?
Yeah, I think our biggest thing is, again, like even with Olaf, we've known him for a while now, but with most of the band, we've known each other for like most of our lives. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very easy to be direct with each other and
Okay.
just be if problems come up, there's never we never have to be worried to just be like, hey man, you're causing trouble. Like, let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about it. Like it's not it's not awkward and it's not something that I feel like happens that often, but
Okay.
also because we're, you know, I don't know. I think it's like you said, a lot of the guys that are in it to go and play the music and then get out of there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they don't care as much about their relationships between the members.
Yep.
I know these guys. I want to be
Sure.
friends with them after we leave. Like I'm going to see them all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to, leave here knowing that we're going to have, let the creative differences in the band spew
Mm-hmm.
into outside of the band stuff.
I
Right.
think that amongst musicians, like especially, I mean, you see this in bands that are, huge all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you do have like the different egos, the different personalities that clash. Now, that in most cases, at least what we see is a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And in other cases, that could be horrible. But I think that at least in our case, because all these guys have known each other so long, like there is just that base connection between everybody where everybody's really comfortable just to call
Yeah.
each other out.
Yeah.
And I think that in our case as a group, that blend of personalities is a blessing. I think that
Mm-hmm.
between all of us, that is something that is definitely a pro, not a con.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and that's because it's we used that term the diva earlier now, and I only use this as an example because I know that he mentioned this. I don't know if I forget where it was in an interview. I think it was Red Carpet, but Steven Tyler had said at one time, which people didn't realize. He obviously pure frontman for Aerosmith, been there forever. Okay,
Right.
but he had said, as much as people have seen them, it seems like they get along. He has said, I really don't get along with much of the band, and he's even said, I'm not ashamed of it, but they don't really care for me either. They've made that known multiple times. And as I'm listening to this, I'm thinking it's so interesting, jaw drop, wow, you're actually not maybe personally trying to air your dirty laundry, but you're giving us a peek of really how they feel about you, and we wouldn't know that because they seem to work so well together. But he's like, they
Right.
just we do what we have to do. I show up, it's the work relationship. So I feel like in those cases, if they had a foundation there, if they had better connectivity, maybe things would be better. Maybe they wouldn't have the strife there. And I think the ego thing is the hardest part. And we had that where I knew the guys in the band I played with. I got to know them really well. The problem became somewhat of creative differences. It was also, guys wanted to be famous overnight, which clearly does not happen. And we had these during practice discussions of the band. We'd be sitting down, I told them, listen, guys, I want to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too, but it doesn't just, we go to sleep and we sprinkle fairy dust and we go, oh yeah, we got a platinum album, triple platinum album, and we're gonna hit, the big time. So. And it was also the idea of, pushing the originals, like Guitar Player. And he wrote fantastic songs, don't get me wrong there. But it was organizing the song. He's like, I just want to play it. Well, if we get into the studio, you've got to have it broken down so that the producer knows. And we did that. I had a guy who I knew very well who ran his own studio. I went in to have him explain that to him. There's a lot more than just sitting down and playing the song. Plus, also, whenever he played his guitar riff for that, the song would change at least 3 times. So it's almost like he played it in a different key for that. And I'm like, you've got to have consistency, especially recording that. You can't change the song midway through. But, just those little things. And it was unfortunate because it just grew us to a point where, it was sort of, I guess, driving that wedge. Maybe not intentionally, and I didn't intend for that to happen, but of course it was out of my hands at a certain point. So it inevitably led to one guy saying, you know what, I'm just going to, not for me, doing something else. Another guy, they kind of just fall away, and, it's what it is. So but I love hearing that because that definitely tells me that you guys clearly start off on the right foot there. I will say this: if you do get famous enough, and we hear a story that you do end up breaking it for whatever reason, I will be definitely shell shocked. Because after hearing this story, it's like something catastrophic must have happened. Because if you guys are that tight knit, it's something. What possibly could do it, but it would have to be something. So, it's nice having that. And again, knowing each other, it's relaxed, and you can go at your own pace. You obviously understand each other too, so there's not much. I don't see you have much of a conflict where you guys are on the same directional path, which is is key too. So. That's a very good point though for that, and we said the same thing for Austin there too. You're learning that with the guys in Orange Moon Project. I'm gonna get to you, I promise. I'm leading you on with anticipation. I know you want to get on here. We're gonna take a break in just a minute because we're gonna have to reset our meeting time, and we're gonna play actually some of the music from the other band that we have to play tonight. But no, I think that's really important, and aside from the music, like Adam said too, that's probably the key point is you're not letting the creative part dictate everything else. Like even if I said to you guys now, you guys have a strong relationship, now let's just assume that for whatever creative reason you decide, maybe Olaf becomes his own solo, or he wants to do something else and move on. It's not going to damage the friendship though. Like if he were to come to you and say, you know what guys, I love the time here, I kind of want to explore something else. You're not going to hold it against them. It's not going to say, you know what, I don't ever want to see you again, because you're throwing us off. And anybody else in the band, if they say, you know what, it goes beyond the music. So that's great. And we hope for that because that's, it's just part of the business too. Things happen. So if you ever do get to that point, don't let it affect that friendship, which is awesome. I'm trying to think. I had another question I wanted to get to because we're gonna break here in a second. I'm gonna get to. I know. So okay, let me ask this: how many questions do you have there, Mr. B? You said you wrote a few down that you wanted to ask.
I got probably about like 7 or 10 of them.
Oh, okay. You're prepared. All right. So I'm thinking like he's got somebody's showing off. I'm thinking like, oh, he's got 1 or 2. I'm so nervous to do. I got 10 questions. All right. So we're gonna get to yours. Actually, we're gonna break here. I'm trying to think. I'm so like I'll say this just to give you guys some insights there. People always assume that we are so organized on this show. We're not. I know it's pure talent to make things look really good. We did this for when Austin was on as our guest there. I try to make him look good, even though he makes it difficult. So it just adds to the emotional trauma for me. So where do I want to go with this? I want to preface one other note there. We have no script. This is pure off the cuff. I like to have it raw and organic too because fun things tend to happen. So, let's see if we can get this in because we've got about 90 seconds there. So we'll end it before we take a break here. Each of you guys tell me again, just from your experience, not just for the band but music-wise, what's something that you learned about yourselves just in a musical journey? We'll put that as a last-minute question before we take a pause here, and then we'll get to Mr. B. And either one can go if you have one. Just a simple general thing, but go ahead. Give us an example.
I think for me, it was always just like having that thought process of singing and playing at the same time.
Okay.
Having to split that thought process when singing and playing, because that for me was something that I had to learn how to do because I didn't know how to do that.
Okay.
So I think that for me definitely made me a better musician because I was focusing on 2 different things at once.
All right.
And also just focusing on selling it and being the guy in the front. That was huge. That took a while for me.
Awesome. Adam, any quick thought? We're going to have about 30 seconds.
I think my biggest thing was sort of transitioning from like strictly rhythm into doing some more lead stuff with guitar.
Very
and
nice.
Olaf was definitely a big part of that because he's been doing it for a while. He sort of helped me learn some improv stuff. And also just like, moving around a little bit. I used to get clowned on a lot for standing around. So definitely try to move around a little bit more now and sort of sell it a little bit.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Perfect. A great answer. So stick around, guys. Stay tuned. The meeting's gonna end. Keep that link there. I'll let you know. We'll restart it. Perfect time for a break. We'll come back, and then Mr. B I'm gonna throw it to the new guy. He's gonna ask his questions. So you guys can take a quick a bathroom break. Get yourself a snack. Get comfortable. We're getting things fired up here. The Cellar Dwellars band is in the house tonight. We're so grateful to have them here. It's their very first time appearing on a podcast. Presented to you, of course, J&J Production Studios, your one true home for entertainment. This is the What's Up Bro podcast show. We got some special commercial break here and some music for you guys, an old favorite, Mickey and the Doom. We're going to play that for you guys right here as we break. Then we're going to come back for more. Stay tuned. You do not want to miss it. We're just getting warmed up, I promise you. There's plenty more fun and entertainment to come. We'll see you guys in just a moment. Stay tuned for more. Don't go away. We'll be right back right after this.
Mattress on the freeway, potholes in my head, an LA traffic nightmare, rodeo roadkill dreams in bed, throwing shit at cop cars, at least inside my head, my red light minds and gridlock, so I'll just get high instead. Burn it down, burn the city to the ground, burn it down, smoke 'em, can't remember to forget ya. Put 'em down, put that fucker in the ground, put 'em down, my enemy, I wish I never met ya. Glitter garbage USA, where the best and worst come play, but can't afford to stay. Glitter garbage USA, same old new shit every day, and algorithms name we pray. Burn it down, burn the city to the ground, burn it down, smoke 'em, can't remember to forget ya. Put 'em down, put that fucker in the ground, put 'em down, my enemy, I wish I never met ya. Glitter garbage USA, where the best and worst come play, but can't afford to stay. Glitter garbage USA, same old new shit every day, and algorithms name we pray. We came to be dramatic, cocaine cowboys, wet sex addicts. I came here to panic, sacrifices in the attic. We came to be dramatic, cocaine cowboys, wet sex addicts. I came here to panic, to panic, to Glitter garbage USA, where the best and worst come play, but can't afford to stay. Glitter garbage USA, same old new shit every day, and algorithms name we pray.
Hey, audio fans, are you looking for fun and excitement? Have you been searching for that special show? You know, the one complete package you want in a podcast? Then check out the What's Up Bro podcast show and experience what true entertainment is all about. Stay tuned and don't miss the action. Available on your favorite streaming services, including YouTube. Thank you for all your support. And as always, we'll see you at the show.
We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned.
Hey there, do you love podcasts? Are you having difficulty finding the right ones to listen to? Is it frustrating when you're trying to pick that show? You know, the one where everyone must collectively agree on? Like finding a good movie or TV show to watch, do you look for the most jam-packed entertainment that's possible to find in a single episode every week? Then search no more, and welcome to J&J Production Studios. It's our business to provide the best entertainment and information available for you. Whether you're sitting in that comfy chair with your favorite snack and beverage, listening live each week, or downloading your favorite show episodes to take with you on the go while you're at work, exercising, or even just to play at night for you to fall asleep to. There's something for everyone, no matter what size, shape, or age you are. Visit www.linktree.com/J_J Production Studios to find all the streaming services where our podcast shows can be found. You can also connect with us on your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook and Twitter. You can join our public Discord server and chat directly with us. But wait, there's more. You can subscribe to our official YouTube channel and be notified every time a new show is broadcast. Wish you could have some studio souvenirs or collectibles? Guess what? You can. Visit the official store where you can purchase items featuring your favorite podcast and show hosts. Would you like to help support us? You can do that by getting your very own exclusive membership on our Patreon account. All proceeds go to help us upgrade our shows, which will only enhance the entertainment provided to you. Thank you so much. We're excited to have you as an audience. Your love and support are always appreciated. We'll see you soon.
Break time is over. We're so glad you stayed tuned. Now back to the action as the show is set to resume.
All right, welcome back, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you're just tuning in, welcome. This is the What's Up Bro podcast show, brought to you, of course, by the one and only J&J Production Studios, your one true home for entertainment. Very special show tonight. We introduce our good friend Austin Anemer from Orange Moon Project, who has now become a guest co-host on the show here. He will appear periodically with us as Mr. Bass, or Mr. B, as he will forever hence be known. And perfect way to start the show tonight, because we have with us members of the band, the Cellar Dwellars, who are chatting with us. We're just getting everybody back in, and we're going to continue on here. Let's get everybody notified. There they come. They're there. Do. Let's see. This is always the tedious part. I'm sure there's at some point we're going to find a better way to do this. We actually may invest in, again, we have budget, so we're trying to make sure we get everything appropriated here. But there we go. Okay, so we're getting Austin back in here. As soon as he comes in, he's coming in now. I'm gonna segue him here, so we're gonna embarrass him here because this is his first chance to interview here. So you tell me you're ready. So I'm gonna give you the intro. I'm gonna let you take it away here. So let's see how this goes. So you guys can feel free to counteract anything he says too, because I would love to see how embarrassing this could get for him. But so. And while we do that, actually, we have a special treat. They did share this a song. I'm going to cue that up here in a little bit. We will play a little teaser here for you guys to kind of let you hear a little bit. I'm going to work on that. So, making his interview on the show here, Austin, a.k.a. Mr. Bass or Mr. B, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's see how you do here. So, it's your job. You have some questions. You take over for a second. Go for it. What do you got for the guys? Oh, he's gonna go there. Here we go. Okay. Oh, okay. I was just gonna say before you ask that, I just want to make sure we don't draw any controversy. So you need to start with that, so you don't scare the pants off of us, because I don't want to get hate comments or emails from people saying, we're okay. Now you guys can answer. Go ahead. Sorry. Well, you got to save something for the next show. You can't give it all away at one time, so. Oh boy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
At least for us, like transitioning to that
Yeah.
original thing, right? Because now it's like you're making up what you want to play.
Yeah.
It could be anything,
Oh
right?
man.
When you're doing the originals, right? So like, there's so many possibilities, and I think for me at least, when I'm sitting in my bedroom and I'm fiddling on my Logic or my Garage Band, and we're coming up with this stuff, like I will lay down this sort of like groundwork for this kind of like idea that I have, because I feel like I have this like this sort of energy that I feel like I want it to have. And I remember, especially with that demo that we just put out on SoundCloud, shameless plug.
It's all right, go for it.
And we just put it out on SoundCloud. You can find the link in our Instagram bio and our Facebook bio. There was a very specific part where, in the bridge section, where I had laid down all the guitars, and it was very basic. And I called these dudes up, and I'm like, this bridge section feels empty. And I'm like, I need something else to come in and sprinkle in here to make it feel like cohesive, And funny story about that original, the whole song started in, so I'm not a piano player. And I was in the auditorium of my high school fiddling around, and I came up with that original riff in the beginning, those series of notes, and then everything kind of came after that. But these dudes came in on that bridge section, and Adam sprinkled in. I mean, you love that wah pedal. Guy comes in, and he laid in like a very intricate line with the guitar, and then Jack came in with the keys, and he sprinkled in this like super. I don't even know what it is, but it's cool and it worked. And I think for me, at least, being the one that has like the tools, at least at my house, to put all that together, so I'm like the one who messes with it the most. I think for me, it's been a very, very weird experience being like, we're gonna play this song, but I came up with it, and now suddenly, like, when we're playing it, it's like completely subject to what everybody thinks. So now it's like, it's been really, really interesting for me to be like, putting something out there and being like, well, now this is sort of like an extension of all of us going out there being like, well, this is who we are, right? This is now representing us.
Yeah.
And I think that as far as, between playing covers and stuff like that, as far as like being a guitar player goes, I learned most of my chops through playing country tunes.
That's what's up.
So I've learned all my my visualization of the fretboard and how I move through chords and playing over the changes, and all that stuff, and like my how I visualize things. It's all been through country. So playing through 1-4-5s and all these weird through the 7 chords and all this stuff. So for me, I think at heart, I'm a metal music lover too. So, playing something heavy and ominous is really good for the soul. But honestly, like nothing beats playing a good boogie.
Ain't nothing like it. It's
doing some Skinner. Did you want to say something else?
No, I was gonna say, I think going off of what you said about the originals, like I think the cool part about that is I think that every song we've made has sort of like evolved as we play it live different times, because part of that is Olaf will make this whole song and then we'll practice it like maybe 48 hours before we're supposed to play it live.
Sure.
And so then
Not
we
like cutting
all-
it close, but sure, yeah.
Yeah. And so, some of us have already laid down parts, and then some parts sort of just get improvised on the spot, and then they get added in. And I just think that's a cool, measure of like how it, it's cool to go back and look through the different demos and see like how we started making it versus after playing a couple of shows, like what it sounds like when we play it live, because it's different every time.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, so then that kind of like ties into like the songwriting then. So how do you guys do it? Since there is like 6 of you guys, what's the dynamic? Is it equal parts here? Like, oh, I have an idea, try this, or is there like maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 of you that are like the spearheads of the songwriting process, and then collectively try to work? Because imagine 6 different people, 6 different sets of influences, unless you guys like literally all the same stuff. I can imagine like there's some collision there to try to be like, oh, I want to put this in. So like, what's your songwriting process like?
Well, I think again, Olaf does most of it, but I think usually the way it starts is he will come up with an idea and he will he's the one that has access to these recording things. And so he'll make a demo and then he'll bring it to us and say, what do you guys think of this? Like, how should we, go from there? And then I'll, let him take it from here, because he's the one that does most of the.
Yeah. And I've come into the basement and I've played something, and like they've all just looked at me and been like, dude, what is this? And I've been like, I don't know, I just threw it together, like whatever. Like it was just an idea. But I think that at least for me, it all comes out of one idea. And the thing that I always laugh about with my father is that it always comes at like the worst time. Like I'll get like a good idea at like the worst time. So for me, I think the craziest part was, I remember this one time I was sitting in my biology class. And this is after, I can say this because I graduated, but I was sitting in my biology class and I had a melody idea that I had I was like thinking about this song that I was writing. And I think that it might have even been in that bridge part of that song that we just put out on SoundCloud. And I finally had this like weird melody idea thing that came into my head. So I put my phone in my pocket and I went out into the hallway and like faked blowing my nose. And then I did a voice memo and I sang it into my phone so that I could remember it for later. Because I was like, I'm going to lose this within the next 10 minutes. And like, I need this
Whatever
because
works, yeah.
We're supposed to play an artist showcase in like 3 weeks and we have no originals. So that for me, that's sort of how it all starts. Is I'll wake up at 3 a.m. and I'll be like, do into my phone, and then I'll come back to it and be like, hey, wait a minute, that was cool. That might actually turn into something. And then I bring it here, and then all these guys put their spin on it, and we'll tweak it and we'll change it and whatever.
Wow.
And then evidently I bring it back to my house, and I swear to God, I'm on like voice memo like 355 in here. Like,
I know what that's
when
like.
your phone tells you you're running out of storage.
Yep.
Voice memo's going.
At least you use it. I mean, that's important. I mean, those little tools you didn't have. Imagine like way back in the day when we didn't have technology. Like back in the day when the tracks were going. When you had to string the tape. At least it makes it simpler. Any kind of memo helps because. They say I've had that too, where I get an idea, I don't write it down, and then it's gone, and I'm like, oh, it was so good. At least I thought it was, and then
right.
I didn't write it down, and then the band will be like, well, what was it? I can't remember. I had it, and it comes to you first thing in the morning, and I don't
Yeah.
remember. So that's great. Use it. Whatever you got.
Worst times, the worst times.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then, since you both are guitar players,
Well, you really
I'm
thought
gonna.
about this, haven't you? You really came down to these questions. I like your process for this. You seem to really put a lot of thought into
Well,
this.
when I've seen these guys play, at just the first time seeing them at the Sherman stage, like I'm telling you, Justin, they are
Okay.
absolutely phenomenal, incredibly tight. Like they are
I believe it.
musicians through and through. So I
Okay.
know, like if I ask them like certain questions, I know they'll be able to answer them fairly quickly.
Okay, that's okay.
I think maybe this one they'll have a hard time remembering. But since you guys are both guitar players, what's the first riff you learned?
Ooh.
That's gonna take me a second.
That's all right. Take your time.
There we go.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And just to preface this, he's new here, so please don't hold the whole show. It's him. So if I have to dock his pay grade for this, I will do that. But go ahead, take your time.
We're getting paid?
I think for me, believe it or not, oh boy, we're going back through the years now. When I was really young, first starting to play, I was like the biggest AC/DC fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for a lot of people, I think that that's like a place where we start. Now I know, you're like, oh, smoke on the water, yes,
I was
but
gonna say,
Nah.
It's a classic
Yes,
riff.
but-
I mean,
I know. But for me, I think I can't even remember. That's a really deep cut. I think it must have been. I think before I knew anything, I think I was just ripping the power chords. As far as I remember, I think that's where I was at.
That punk rock energy. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
it is.
before he could crawl or even walk, he was just playing riffs coming out. It wasn't even walking or
Just the
crawling.
power chords. I mean, because it's a universal shape.
Yeah.
You move it up and down.
You can do anything with it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I think for me that's really where I started, and I've had a lot of different pivotal points in my guitar playing career, but I think that's really where I started. And then I a funny thing is another thing, at least for me, that I do remember is so at Christmas, like it was always, at least in my family would make me play some sort of piece for my family,
Of course.
so that I would be like worthy of my gifts. Right?
Oh my
So-
god.
Wow,
So,
I'm glad I
like-
didn't grow up in your house. Boy. Pressure.
But I always kind of took that as an opportunity to learn something that would be
oh, sure.
impressive, and something that I could I sort of use it as an opportunity to really like have a reason to learn something that would be like substantial.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, throughout the years, again, that's also been like a stage fright thing. I was like deathly afraid of doing it, and then at least last year I was like, I learned something, and I was like excited to put that forward. But I learned. I remember one of the earliest things that I learned for that specific reason was I learned how to play Blackbird.
Mm-hmm.
And I was I played it on this Fender acoustic guitar, which I still have, but I need to fix the bridge because the bridge busted for some reason.
Huh.
But yeah, I think that's my earliest memory of playing something. I mean, that's really all blurred, but that's what I would probably say my first go. I mean, it wasn't great by any means.
Okay,
It's
that was
not
my
great when
follow-up
we first
question.
started.
Okay, so at least she's
No,
honest.
it was not great. No,
But you're
it was
honest.
not
That's okay.
great.
You learn from it,
Yeah.
and you've gotten better. That's the whole. As long
Yeah.
as you're not at the same spot, you move forward. That's
Yeah.
good. Okay.
And I've taken that, and I last year, for that same specific reason, at that time for my family, I did a gypsy jazz piece. So I've come a long way, and I'm very proud of having that opportunity every year to learn something.
As you should be. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, Adam, you had enough time. What do you think?
I think the first thing I ever played was "Sunshine of Your Love" by Cream. That was like the first song I learned.
I love that song. The band did it all
And
the
then-
time. We loved it.
Yeah. And then the first actual song I learned, full song, I started taking guitar lessons, because I was learning. Me and my dad had started playing when I was 8 or 9, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so we never did lessons. We were a big fans of Marty Music on YouTube, so give him a shout out. We love Marty Music.
Yeah, right.
And then I finally started. I took a real guitar lessons in 2019 with this guy. He's a retired blues musician. He plays. His name is Papa Chubby, and he's
Really?
doing. I think he's doing a European tour right now.
Wow,
But
yeah,
back
I've heard of
then,
him. Wow.
He was off for summer. I think he was taking a break to be with his family for a couple of years.
Yeah, a
And
little
so he was
sabbatical. Yeah. I remember
guitar
hearing
lessons from home. And so my mom had seen that. I guess she was a big fan of his work, and so she had signed me up for that. And we had learned. The first song he taught me was "Little Wing" by Hendrix, and I learned that. And then we just did because he played blues. We just did a lot of blues, a lot of 12-bar blues, and so I sort of grew up playing that sort of stuff with him. And that was really the earliest like full song stuff that I did was with him.
Wow. Huh.
Okay. So.
Okay. That's all you got? That's it? Like,
I mean,
I'm sitting here like, that's incredible. He's like, okay. You're just an intern, by the way. You don't get paid. But,
oh, that's what I thought. I thought this was free.
Yeah, that's right. No, you're making me look better. You're making the show look better. No, that's great. No, sorry. Go ahead.
So, based on your guitar playing, what would be your biggest influences then? I heard Cream and stuff like that you guys started out playing. I heard some punk. I heard some metal conversation here. So I would imagine
you forgot Hendrix too.
Yeah, Hendrix as well. So
I'm
sure
the
the
guitar man. Don't disrespect Hendrix, man. Come on. Now.
So I imagine the influences sound like a lot of the classic stuff, but there's always some snowball or outside of the box influences that somebody usually says. Somebody might, like you said, somebody said country, so it's like, okay, well, that's not like this or this. So, like, what got you guys wanting to play? What bands influenced your playing style?
Do it. Oh, well, when I started, I listened to a lot of classic rock because I grew up with that and the Beatles. So I've always liked George Harrison. So I always felt like he was like, I don't know, I sort of connected with him. He was like the sort of in the background guitar guy. But I love Hendrix. I feel like that's a pretty basic answer, but he's
it's fine.
Really good.
Yeah.
I love Jerry Cantrell. I'm a big enjoyer of this Japanese guy. His name's Masayoshi Takanaka.
Yeah.
He's from the 70s.
Yes.
Wow.
He plays this like fusion jazz stuff. It sounds like Mario Kart.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah,
I went deep into his like discography. He's got a lot of really cool influences. So I like that sort of fusion playing. And then I love Skunk Baxter, who played for Steely Dan. He was like a studio musician in the 70s. And he was incredible. He was really awesome. So that was a big. All of those guys are just like really good. And I love Clapton. All the people that everybody said. I like all of them. They're great.
One of my biggest like points when I was learning how to play was I was in a car and I heard Cliffs of Dover for the first time.
Yep.
And I was like, what? So that's where I feel like my downward spiral really started. But as far as actually like learning and being influenced by guitarists, I was super influenced. And like I mentioned earlier that I was learning how to play through like over country tunes. So for me, it was, at least when I felt like I had my biggest progression of learning, I took this True Fire course. This guy named Johnny Highland, who's he's a chicken picker.
Yep.
Which, if you don't know what chicken picking is, it's basically where like you hold the pick with your thumb and your pointer finger, and then you use your middle and your ring finger to pick the other strings.
Yep.
So I took a True Fire course where he was explaining like some of his techniques and stuff, and it was really hard. And I did not get through the whole thing. I'll be completely transparent about that.
All right.
Because it was ridiculous. And the guy's an unbelievable guitar player. But the craziest thing that I noticed that he was doing through his playing was that all of his licks and all of his chops were subjected to what he was playing over. So like what chords were under it, and then he built that kind of like melodic idea through stuff like that. So like for me, that was a big focus. Another guy that I've learned a ton from is this guy named Brian Sherrill. For all you guitar players out there, go check him out on the internet. He has an unbelievable guitar course and forum. That's the guy, Active Melody. Go check it out. The guy is unbelievable. He's a Nashville cat, and he talks about, all these like super cool like rhythmic ideas, the cage system, identifying a fretboard, playing over the fretboard. He's really great to go learn from. I think in terms of just like all-time celebrities that have just given me the wow factor and been like, I need to play guitar. Obviously, Angus Young.
Oh yeah.
Eddie Van Halen.
That's the guy.
I mean, for me, I grew up around that kind of thing, and even now, as I'm getting older, I'm starting to appreciate like different things, and listening to like even some more like jazz stuff. Recently, my biggest thing was I've been listening to a lot of Joe Pass.
There it is. Yep.
Joe Pass.
Yep. There it is.
Joe Pass is really unbelievable, and that's not to say I'm no Joe Pass or Angus Young or Eddie by any of those means, but just to be like, wow, that's possible. That is, just something for me to like be like, yeah, dude, I need to learn how to tame this beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, since that's strictly just the guitar playing, so since you've kind of taken on the leadership role and being the front man and the singer, who have you looked at to look as influences, or is this just kind of like we're just gonna wing this shit and see how it goes, and I'm just gonna
He's really getting deep here. Like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to like get them to pull their pants down here? What are we doing here? Asking, I'm told it's going to be an easygoing night. You're asking like the hardcore, brutal questions, but
No.
hey, go ahead.
That's a great question. And I think that that's extremely relevant because I mentioned earlier that I never pictured myself to be that kind of front man. So I think for me, it was like, I think like the first place that I immediately went when I needed guidance was I went right to my father, like any son would.
Sure.
And then I, through playing, I sort of like figured out what was required of that sort of role. And I think my biggest influence in that place, and I mean, this is obviously, I'm completely biased because I'm from Jersey, but
Sure.
Bruce.
So am I. Bro,
Bruce.
The boss.
I mean, I went last year before the school year started. I saw Bruce at MetLife night one.
Yep.
And the guy walks out there, and I remember this vividly. He walks out of like the tunnel, and there's like the light behind him, and he's standing there, and he puts up his hand, and he goes, "What's up, my people?" And everybody just goes nuts. I think that he, like, as a vocalist and as a guitar player, just like the connection that he has with his audience, and the way that he, like, he's so like raw and so just like present in what he does. I think that is definitely something that I've tried to bring to at least my sort of frontman thing. And I think that as far as, I mean, doing the covers and stuff, I always try to, give a little bit of a hint of, whoever I'm trying to, whatever song I'm doing, whoever I'm trying to imitate. Like, if we're playing the Stones tunes, we got to do a little Mick Jagger every now and then.
Yeah. You can't let the fans down that way. That's
right,
that's
absolutely.
Given. But no, I like that too. I just want to comment too. I'm from New Jersey too, but the boss really he's very real. Like he's
absolutely
he's not he's the stage presence, but at the same time he interacts with fans. Like yes, he's a big superstar, but kind of reminds me like the Bon Jovi effect too. He's real with people and he gets into it, and that's the kind of thing I think. And again, I wasn't the front man, but I would want to be real with fans too. I think that's what gives you the edge over anybody else. So I like that approach. That's great.
So then that should lead into a pretty good all right, sky's the limit, dead or alive, does not matter. You guys building perfect tour for yourselves. You guys can open you guys can be the headliners. Does not matter. What is the
He's gonna do
dream
it.
tour lineup for each of you?
Wow, he's really going there.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
did not
that's a
I-
fantastic question.
I did not preface these. He's on his own, so I said to him, "You sink or swim." So if the questions are horrible, that's on you. So this is, that's,
Dream tour.
I think
he's landing on thick tonight.
somewhere a stage that I always thought would be really awesome to play at because I went here when I was younger, and I had seen just some like I think it was like a blues festival. I went on a road trip with my parents. It was Red Rocks in
Yeah,
where's that?
totally.
Yeah, I think
It's
that
in-
would be.
That's a
I
good
don't
one.
even
yeah.
remember where it is.
Colorado?
We went to the Grand
Utah?
Canyon and we went
No.
by there.
University. Where is it? University.
It's somewhere, but it's
It's
Yeah.
out there.
It's
I don't
out
know.
there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I
out
think
there.
it's very cool.
Hmm.
Colorado. Thank you.
Colorado. There you go. Yep, yep.
But I think that would be super cool. Anywhere where we could just, I want to get on the bus. I think that would be cool. Go on the bus.
I just want to be on the bus.
I just want to be on the bus. Forget that, where we're going. As long as I can have a road trip, that's all it's about.
Yeah, and I think opening, as much as I would like to be like the headline, I think opening for like somebody massive would be awesome because then we would just get to bask in their big crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who would be cool though. Like,
I've always loved going to see like industrial bands
Yes, let's go.
Now you're
So
tickling his fancy. Okay.
throughout my childhood. I've seen Killing Joke many times.
Mhm.
Nice.
And I remember the first time that I saw them in Irving Plaza
Okay.
in New York, and that was
Yep.
before they had renovated. So it was
Ooh.
still like really small,
The origin, yeah.
and on that left side of the stage, if you're looking at the stage on the left side of the stage, they had that really tall like half wall
Yeah. Yep.
thing, and then that like really narrow corridor on the other side.
Hmm.
And for me, I remember how dark and like gloomy and ominous it was, and like standing on that balcony, being up there right behind the booth, and then like watching these dudes come out and they play this like super like ominous and heavy stuff. Like I would really really love to. I mean, I feel like I sort of try to carry that a little bit into my own writing. Is just like to feel that sort of energy. I would love. I mean, obviously, I would love to open for them. Maybe, I mean, not just to play all the places that they did, but maybe just to even meet them and pick Jazz Coleman's brain about or Jordy.
Yeah,
What
I
they
mean,
were thinking about.
Why not?
And I mean, other than Irving Plaza, I think just because I've been there, I would have played the old Irving Plaza. That's bucket list. But for me, just being around, growing up, like in listening to punk rock and stuff and all that stuff. I mean, I would love to go back and play CBGBs. I mean, come on, like who wouldn't? Let's get in there in that tiny little room. There's like the stickers everywhere.
Nothing better.
Like really uncomfortable. Like
Yep. You want the full
Yeah.
experience. Yeah, there you go.
I would have loved it. I would have loved it.
that reminds me, I was gonna say, on like in the same vein of like going back somewhere, I've been to PNC Art Center so many times. I think playing
That's a
there
good
would be
venue.
awesome.
That's a nice
I
spot,
had
yeah.
just seen, I went to see Smashing Pumpkins there,
Yep.
and that was such a cool show. I think opening for something like that, like they had the lights going. And then I recently got to go backstage there, which was really cool, and see like how everything got run. So I think playing there would be a cool, like, full circle moment. I think that would be awesome.
that was what Sammy Hagar that was playing.
Yeah.
at PNC? Yeah, I saw the picture. That was awesome.
Yeah. No, he's amazing. Very nice. His whole family, his wife took us back. She was very nice. So
Oh man,
it was awesome.
that's awesome. I'm so happy for you guys, man. You guys are
Yeah.
seriously
Thank you.
top notch. I mean, seriously, 10 out of 10. If anybody
Yeah.
has like ever seen them play, I mean, like, if you haven't, you're not living life. I'm telling you, they're quite entertaining, and they're, like I
True.
said, they're a great set of performers. I mean, I know when the guys and I went and saw you guys at the Richmond a couple months ago, we were so happy just to watch part of the set. We're like, dude, these guys are so tight. They're so good. Like, we were just vibing off the side or whatever. It was so nice to see you guys having a good time.
I think all of us would agree. Like, we all lit up when we saw you guys get there. We were so happy
no.
that you came out to see it. Like, since we played that first show, it was so awesome. Like, because just to connect with another band like that, because that was our first song.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when we
yeah.
were there, like nobody else was like talking to anybody. So like
I know.
it was
Awkward.
really like awkward for us to be there, because obviously, we're like whatever, these young dudes, we show up and like, so thank you to you guys for
Yeah.
being so like kind and just being like, hey dudes, what's
You're a
up?
giver, yeah.
Yeah, and I
That's
don't
good.
think you give yourself enough credit either, because you guys
He doesn't.
are
No, he does.
You guys
That's
are
why.
amazing.
No,
Like,
this is why we brought them on the show. And like I said, I try to embarrass him because he doesn't want to be so. He's too humble for that one. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to pump you up, solo project and with the band, and you're not. This is your platform. Like, I'm giving you free reign here, and he's not doing it. I'm like, well, if you're not going to do it, then I'm telling you, I'm going to tell the guys they're going to write more embarrassing songs about you, because if it's not going to motivate you,
Please,
if
no.
it's not going to motivate you, I don't know what else will. But I do want to ask, just to briefly come, because we're going to have to reset. We'll take another break. Before we do, though, we're going to play this during the break. So you guys have a track that you share. This is a demo. So tell us a little bit, just for the fans, because we're going to play this during the commercial break. The song is called Home. Tell us a little bit about that before we take a break here. What are we going to listen to?
So I had taken a trip to go to Latvia. So my family is from Latvia. I'm a second generation Latin American. Very proud.
Hey.
I read, write, and speak.
Wonderful.
And we had taken a trip to Latvia because we were going to go visit some distant family over there. And I was on the plane, and for me, it was only my second time being there. And I've grown up in America, and I've spoken this language, I connected with all these different people. And it is the weirdest and craziest feeling when you get to this place and suddenly it's like nobody's speaking English, but you still get what's going on all around you. And, you can like go into a store and like buy something, and then you're like, you have to like, speak with the lady in this language that you thought was like exclusive to you. And then you're like, well, no, it's not. But then at the same time, you get back on the plane and you fly back to the States and you're like, wait a minute, that was really cool. I kind of want to go back and do that again.
Okay.
So I sort of wrote it about how I was like experiencing this sort of like shock and awe of being like, wow, I'm here. And like all these people, like I share this like really, really exclusive thing with all these people.
Okay.
And then it shifts throughout the song to me being like, well, I want to go back and I want to feel that again. I want to connect with those people.
Okay,
So
that makes a lot of sense. That's awesome. No, we're gonna play that here in a sec. I'm really excited to hear it. I hope you guys listening are excited to hear it, because we're gonna sprinkle this in. We're gonna take a pause. I know for me at least, I need a restroom break, so I'm gonna do that. We're gonna come back, of course, but we'll play this. The song is Home. I hope you guys are gonna enjoy that. We'll sprinkle that in here. Tell us what you think. We'll talk a bit about that coming back there. We will give Mr. B props. Those were some great questions. They didn't break a sweat, so you didn't scare him, which is nice. We appreciate that. Because again, like I said, in this case, I have the power to hire and fire, so we don't want to do that. If you keep it up, though, maybe one day we'll put you on the payroll. But very good stuff. But we're gonna dig more. I'm curious to know more about the guys here. We'll chat about some fun stuff when we come back there. This is great, and again, I hope you guys, this makes up for it, because we didn't have a show yesterday, but this is an extra special, longer episode tonight, because we love having guests here. We love to give them some props, and at the end of the show tonight, of course, we're going to always ask where we can get some links to some things. We want to point some fans their direction. We're going to talk about all that stuff and more, but we'll play the song for you here, Home, during the break, and then we'll come back and chat some more there. Hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend, and again, check it out, the Cellar Dwellars band. I'm sorry, I have to work on this through there. But so glad to have these guys here talking with Adam and Olaf, and we're going to talk more when we come back. We'll get everybody resituated, so stay tuned, listen for it. We'll sprinkle it in here. The song is called Home. Hope you guys enjoy that. We'll be back in just a moment right after this for more. Stay tuned. Don't go away. You don't want to miss what's coming up next. More fun and excitement on the horizon right when we come back. Stay tuned.
Shivers down your body, and you get cold and colder when you walk by me. I haven't even touched you yet,
Hey there! Enjoying the show? Do you want even more great content? Then check out linktree.com/J_J Production Studios, where you'll find everything you need for the entertainment you deserve, such as links to your favorite streaming services where our podcast shows are featured. Find and connect with us on your favorite social media and live streaming platforms. The official studio channel on YouTube. Like and subscribe today. Our official studio store where you can find all kinds of great merchandise. Would you like to support us? You can do so by getting your own exclusive membership on our Patreon account. Do you want to ensure you don't miss a single bit of detailed information? Then have it sent directly to you by joining our emailing list. Stay up to date on all the latest from J&J Production Studios. Thank you so much for listening. We love and appreciate all your support, and until next time, we'll see you at the show.
We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. break time is over. We're so glad you stayed tuned. Now back to the action as the show is set to resume.
All right, welcome back, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out there. If you're just tuning in, welcome. This is the What's Up Bro podcast show, brought to you, of course, by the one and only J&J Production Studios, your one true home for entertainment. And it's been a great show, you guys. Unbelievable. Hang on a sec. We're just getting some things going on here. If you missed it, too, we'll get some links shared in a little bit. But tonight we feature... the guys from the Cellar Dwellars, band located out of New Jersey. And we are talking to them tonight. And hope you guys listen. If you missed that last track, that was a original written there. And it's I gotta say, we're going to talk about it once we get everybody in here. I don't want to comment yet because I want to have everybody here to talk about it. But, yeah, no, it's... magical stuff happens there, you know. And so, let me get this going here. My error. Let's see here. Let's get the meeting started. I forgot to do that part. It kind of helps when you do that, so. Let's see. Let's make sure here. Again, maybe at some point we'll get our own, our stuff together here. Oh, we got some. I think Austin came in too. I just participated. Where is he? Let's get him in. We get everybody loaded up. There we go. As soon as he comes in, we're gonna, alright, we'll get the audio going. This is as good as it gets there. Hang on, he's coming. Wait for it. Oh, of course you're gonna, okay. Hang on. You are muted, so, you know, if you want to make sure your mic's on. There we go. And let me double check to make sure all mics are on. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Let me just say this right off the bat, okay? I'm really glad I saved the song for the latter part of the commercial because I could really enjoy that. We're not sharing too much, but I don't even know how to put words for that. Like, that was the melody and the song alone, but then when you add the lyrics to it, like, I don't know. It just has this such catchy, this upbeat, like, I really wish I had words. It was just the most, it's an incredible song. Let me just put that out there. It's really awesome.
Thank you.
It's very, I think the word I'm looking for is very emotionally gripping because I can hear the passion behind it. You know, the story's there. It's the whole returning home. Like, you really feel like, I will say this, if you ever have the option, that would be a great soundtrack for a great film if it ever presented itself. Like, that's one of those emotionally charged moments where, you know, we all know from films the soundtracks really make it, right? That's really the key element for any great picture. But super, super fantastic and just completely blown away. You know, and again, we've heard some of the stuff you guys have out there too listening. I mean, it's just incredible. And, you know, again, it gives a testament for how much you guys share the same passion there. You're putting this out there. And I mean, you know, obviously we're going to put the spotlight on Olaf since he does most of that work there for that. Like, it's pure sheer genius. Like, it's like I can only say, like, the Lennon McCartney there. Like, you just have all these brilliant ideas that just kind of funnel out. And, you know, it's really awesome. And again, you have that relationship where you guys are working together and, you know, you bring it to the table and the guys go, yeah, we got some feedback, but that's all you know, you're bringing this whole vibe going there. It's fantastic. And, you know, you guys having the chance to be out on stage, you know, doing the shows and just, I don't know, it's super awesome. I mean, we're really, it's exciting to see that. And again, as much as we love having it too, like, we are so privileged to have you come and share this with us, to be here to share this with our listeners, because, you know, it's super special. And, you know, really, you guys, and I'm sure you are, but be proud of yourselves too, because, you know, this is really something that I think a lot of people will get into. You know, you've had a lot of positive feedback as well, I'm sure. But even just saying that, when you do a project like this, obviously, you know, it's hard when you're doing the rough draft stages, but, like, you know, when you hear this song in a completion and it's out there, like, what does it mean now when you're not just the writer side, now you're sitting back as a listener? What does that mean to you? Like, when you hear, like, you know, obviously you put the words down, you put the music down, but now you're not creating it. Now you are enjoying it as a potential listener. How does that feel like? What's the contrast and the difference when you have that sort of changing of hats?
I think that I'm probably the most critical person that I know.
Yeah.
So I think that for me now, at least when I've had to, step back and kind of accept the fact that now, it's subject to whoever decides to listen to it. I think for me, it's been a very interesting feeling to have. I'm very happy that, I even made it through that process, and that I still believe that there's more to be done there.
Yeah.
I think that that is in its infancy stages. I think that there's got to be some couple other things that I need to do to that. But I think that as far as like being someone who writes the words and then puts that emotional effort into doing something like that, and then suddenly switching gears, I think that it's been really, really just like special. Sitting back and being like, yeah, I did that. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, and that's it is a special feeling because when you're grinding, and of course you don't take time to appreciate it because you're really, and I'm like that too. I always tell people, whenever playing opportunity, when you're playing in front of an audience listening, like I'm always super critical too. And most people will be nice, like, "Oh, it sounded great," and I'm like, "Listen, I appreciate that, but there was at least 6 mistakes I counted right here." That,
right. Right.
It's the musician's factor of you hear it, but the audience doesn't. So when you're in that creative process, it's a hell of a lot of work. It's grinding because you're so focused on it being this perfect idea, this perfect thing that you want to get out, and it's always sometimes hard to transmit the words. Like I've had that trying to get it out of your mind, and like how do I get it down on paper for people to understand? How do I put the emotion behind it? Because when you're the artist, you know what it sounds like, you know what it feels like, but then you have to try to transcribe that to get that message out. Where then you worry, like I've always had that when we did songs, it was, is this going to be the same level of emotion that when I initially thought of it? Are we transitioning that to an audience? Can we be objective there when it's obviously our project, we're doing this, and is the audience going to feel the same way? Are we going to touch anybody? Is it going to be that emotionally gripping feeling? And again, it's rewarding nonetheless because you obviously created that, and that's what it is. But it's all those little things that you're in the back of your mind. And like now, I can say it as an observer, like the song was great, everything was fantastic, but then you could come back and say, like you mentioned that, where there's probably more I could do with it. It is a great start, and I'm like, as you're saying that, I'm thinking like, what could you add to that? Like now you got me excited. Like what could you change that? Because it's so good by itself, Like how do you even motivate yourself for that? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I feel like the bones are there. But I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I'm the most critical person that I know. So
it's hard.
I don't think that if I make something, I probably can listen to it a million times and still think, well, I could, have sang that differently. I could have, maybe played that a little bit differently. But I think that I could probably go in there into my closet where I have all my spare mattresses and whatnot, and set up my amp, crank it, and replay or re-sing all those parts as many times as I'd like. But I think that at some point, you just have to do it where you're like, I'm happy with how this is sounding, and then just kind of, push on. But I remember, especially with that song, it took me it took me a whole day to do all the vocals, because I was like trying to be overly I was trying to make sure that because it's bizarre when you record it and you have to hear yourself sing it. You're like, that sounds horrible. Like you do it the first time, you're like, that's so bad. Would ever listen to that? No. So for me, that was like a process, like going through it. And I, as I said, it is like, it's the bones are there. So those vocals for me are like, I think that for me, they could still be done a little bit different. But on the other hand, like I think I sort of enjoy the sort of like loose vibe that they got, because I feel like that kind of translates into what I was trying to, like, the message I was trying to get across.
Yeah, no, I mean, and like I said, I love the fact I see this a lot of you guys, and this guy over here does this, the humbleness of no pride in the work necessarily. I mean, you're happy, but like if that's what you call the bones of it, I want to see what the muscles and the skin and the tissues looks like when you put the when you layer that, because if you're telling me that's the bare bones of it, and like I said, that's pure magic and gold right there. I can only dream and imagine what else you could. It's like making a cake. You're putting those layers on. Like, what else could you add to that? But at least, though, at the same time, and most people don't like to be critical. I mean, we've done that. We share this with the audience all the time when we started doing the shows. And if I played it for you, I'd be super embarrassed because we've had equipment issues in the past. We've had moments where I still do occasionally. I don't turn the mic back on, which I get super critical of myself, going, it's all these things. And then I go back and I listen. And people say, why do you listen to it? Because, well, I don't enjoy torturing myself, but I like to be able to take something from the early rough days when it was
Right.
bad, and I want to know what can we do to get better, and where did we mess up, and why. All these millions of questions just come, fluttering in. But and it's not easy because obviously you're throwing yourself under the bus. Just say trying not to be satisfied with it at the same time, because you just strive for that perfection level of, I just want to make sure I give, this is like a dream that I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to make sure I give it its fair shake and its fair due. I don't want to shortchange myself. And that's the thing with the creative difference too, where, it's hard when you work in a band and a group there, when you share it with others, you want the feedback, which I'm sure the others give fair feedback. You're like, how can I
do.
You need another ear to hear that. I just, what does it sound like to you guys? How does it, but it's like a delicate Fabergé egg of you're trying to really make this work, but at the same time you're like, it could just as easily come undone. Or maybe, and again, I'm not sure, it probably hasn't happened yet, but if someone says, I like it, but maybe you could go, they're almost like they're going to pull it a different direction, that's that's not where you're looking at. So but it's respecting that process, which is awesome. I think that's fantastic. What are your thoughts there, Mr. B? You got a question too. I want to see what other questions you have there, because you've been too quiet there. So give me your feedback for that, and then you give them a question, because we'll be fair. We're going to share alike. So go ahead.
Well, when I first saw that they had posted that they were going to be releasing the demo for the song, I was very excited. So I actually remember driving to work at 11 o'clock at night and being ready, and I had my phone, I had an alarm set and everything, because I was like, I'm going to sneak away off the line and I'm going to put this on. So I listened to it and I was like, yo, this is top notch. It was like not even 5 seconds into the song, the guitar tone alone, I was smitten. So I was very impressed. And then the rest of the guys came in, Olaf's vocals started, and it's a very well written song. It's very well done. It's very well recorded and produced and everything like that. I think you guys did a great job, since you said you guys did that yourself, right?
I did.
Very, very nicely done. Very, very good. I'm very impressed.
That's a huge compliment too, because he was risking himself getting fired just to hear the song. So that must mean it was a huge impact.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sitting there and I'm like, everything at my job when I was doing, everything's all good. I'm like, look, I'm gonna find some excuse just to walk off to go do something to go.
I gotta go to the bathroom. I have a bad fish taco. I'll be right back in a little. Give me about 4 minutes and 7 seconds to be specific, and then I'll be back.
It's cool when bands put out original music though,
Yeah,
and I was just
sure.
again, because I'm such a fan and I respect these guys so much. I was just that much more excited to see and hear an original song being out on the digital platform, and I was just like, I gotta hear that. I just gotta see how good it is. I was very excited, so I was more than satisfied with what I heard. So, like I said, you guys did a great job on that. So,
Thank you.
kudos to you
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Yeah, no, it's something special. I mean, again, like I said, it's really unique to find, and again, rare talent, and it's raw and it's organic. It's not something that's I could tell the creative juice flowing for that one. It's I don't want to say it wasn't hard for you to do it, but you really got into it where it's like painting that masterpiece. It's like the Da Vinci effect. When you paint that Mona Lisa there, and you're not sure at first, but then it just kind of starts. You get that writer's block initially when you first start, but then once you start unleashing things, and then that canvas starts to get covered, and then you see the final product, it really it just speaks volumes and testament for that, sure. But so what question do you have though there, Mr. B? Do you have any more? I think I tapped you out, but I'm just gonna throw you under the bus. Think of one, say something. Go ahead. Trying to give you airtime here.
Well, this is more of a personal question for both of them, not so much.
Ooh, a personal question.
For not just so much the band, but so Adam, I'll ask you first. What is your favorite guitar solo to play, and what is your least favorite guitar solo to play? Because you are the lead guy in the band, so I imagine there are ones that you love, and there's other ones you're like,
One would think.
you're probably dreading it, maybe when you get to it.
Um, I like we have a song that we did that we didn't release yet called "Where I Am." And we played that at Sherman, and at that point I didn't have the solo made for it,
Hmm.
but I had made that solo, and that one's fun. It's like easy because I do like the Van Halen tapping, so it looks cool and it sounds cool, but it's not that hard, so I don't usually have to stress about like messing it up too much. So I like doing that one. I like doing anything where we're like any bluesy stuff where it's just like easy to play over the chord changes and you could stay in the box. And I really like we're playing some more of that, older like or newer, I guess, considering what we've been playing, but like the grungier stuff, like the Smashing Pumpkins, we played that. I love playing the solo for that. Super cool because it's a lot more like raw, I feel like, and it's very just like loud, and it's supposed to be loud.
Sure. Yep.
It's fun, and you sort of hide in the mix a little bit more because the guitar, like the other guitars and everything else, is so loud.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just like cool to sort of be able to be as loud as possible and not be like over the rest of the band. And then I don't know. I like playing all the solo. Like we learned "Goodbye Stranger." I love playing that solo. A lot of wah, fun. I like that. And we do "Voodoo Child," and I begged Olaf to play that one.
That is a good.
It took me a while to come around to that because I knew that I was really gonna have to sell it.
That's yeah.
Gotta do Hendrix the justice. So I didn't want to shortchange that.
And that one's fun. I love anything where it's just like, because I'm not the most technically proficient player, but I feel like you can sort of, if you play over like something like Hendrix is so much like feel that you put into it. It's not as much about like playing, the craziest like fusion jazzy runs that are like super hard. It's, if you can play something that, if you can sell it like you're feeling the music and making it, interesting to listen to, it's more fun to do that than to have to really think about like, oh, I'm going to play all these different scales and stuff. So I guess coming off of that, my least favorite is probably anything that Olaf turns around and is like, "Okay, go."
I have improv off the cuff.
Okay, well now you pumped them up. Now you kick them down. Now we know why you don't like about Ola. Okay, I see now. There we go. Okay.
No, and
now it comes out. Okay.
No, and there was a long time where I wouldn't be able to do any lead if Olaf didn't do that. Like, I wasn't comfortable doing that. So I am very grateful that he did start doing that, because if he didn't, I would have just stayed in the back. So sort of putting that pressure on, sometimes I screw up and it sounds bad, but like sometimes I don't and it sounds good, and then I, feel good about it. So it wouldn't have happened at all if you didn't do that. So it's not like a dig at him. It's like,
No,
it's more stressful.
Yeah, I like that though. It's honest. Well, I love that. See, here's the thing. Like, you've been selling him. He's like the perfect prom date since we started this, and I'm like, this can't be perfect all the time. So now at least it's not a dig. It's an honest, genuine. This is what does irritate us about him, but we're thankful. Though. Yeah, but we're thankful. But it's at the same time, you tear him down just a tiny bit, and then you build it back up. But like, I don't like it, but he does make us better. So even that, still, like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so there's really no secrets that we're gonna expose. We could be TMZ, but you guys are just downright like sliced bread. You're just kind of like boring that way. There's no like, there's no hidden story. There's no there's no band riffs. There's no secret life of And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying you guys are truly genuine. So. But now for Austin's question, I guess it's Olaf's turn. What are your favorites and likes and dislikes? Do you have?
Yeah, vocals or guitar, it doesn't matter.
Oh, now you're throwing. Make it hard for him. Now you're throwing both. Make up your mind, would you? Gee
Well, he's
whiz.
playing double duty here.
Well, I know, but don't make him fry his brain, though. I mean, come on now.
I think in terms of singing, as far as singing goes, I think my favorite songs to sing are the, as far as originals go, it is it is probably that one that was just played, because I feel like I feel like I sort of have to almost, I don't know, almost is an understatement. I have to like emotionally compose myself in order to deliver it the right way. So that's always really cool for me, just because, you know, I feel like I'm putting an extension of myself out there for the people. But in terms of, you know, playing covers and stuff, I like singing wise, I love singing Roadhouse Blues.
Okay, it's all right.
Growling a little bit. I'm a big fan of the Bruce numbers. I love the Bruce numbers. They're so fun, and you know, just having like the ability to have all that energy. And the other ones that I love singing, and you know, I'm not the most proficient singer at, you know, having like a very like large vocal range. I mean, it's a learning. It's a, you know, there's a curb learning, you know, process for me while I'm doing it. I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. But one of the craziest ones that we did, that I've always sort of had to like, you know, push myself to sing, was we did Who Can It Be Now?
Okay.
And that for me is like, you know, that's a tall order, because you know, when Men at Work play it, the guy, it's so specific, the way that he, you know, says all the words, and like how he splits it up, and then he does all those crazy high fills, you know, he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, and they come in and all that. And I remember we played a gig once, and this was like the first time that we ever played it. And I hadn't really paid attention to that. And I was noticing that when I was singing, like I wasn't connecting with the audience, right? So then when I came back, you know, and I revised how I was singing it, and I sang it at least rhythmically with like the syllables the right way, that I was at least like connecting with the audience a little bit. So that's for singing. That's for me is my favorite. My least favorite thing to sing is anything that is like, I don't actually really hate any of it as much as there probably should be something that I really dread singing. But anything that's really overly technical in the playing aspect, and then having to sing on top of it, for me, that's always just,
it's hard.
That's a struggle.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I love playing that Goodbye Stranger. That for us was a huge breakthrough number when we learned how to do that. But you know, after a while, being the guy that's like, Goodbye Mary, tough.
Yeah,
You gotta nail that falsetto. Yeah, it's not easy all the time.
Oh yeah, I don't hate it. But I surely also, you know, I don't love it. But you know, I do it because of the part at the end when we kick into the jam bandy section. That's where it all pays off. In terms of playing, my favorite things to do, we on the set lists, I write in this thing that says Solo Fest on, and that is what he's talking about. When I turn around and I go. And I'm like, play, and you know, we all kind of just take turns, you know, going over the progression or whatever we're playing. So that one, those are my favorite to play. A good example, we do Crossroads. You know, all of our blues, the blues. We play that Skinner song, Call Me the Breeze. That one, just like all the blues stuff, is really really fun to play, and easy to follow the chord changes. Honky Tonk Woman, all that stuff. My least favorite one to play is, I think it's got to be the jump solo. Because, because, and that's not to say that, you know, I also myself am not the most like speed, technical efficient, you know, technically able guitar player. So for me, like, it is so specific and crucial to that song to like nail that. Because, you know, like it's like a defining characteristic. So like, you know, when we break into that solo section, and you know, you can't really count it because it's all over the place. Like, it is really really specific to make sure that, you know, I'm timing that all right. Because as soon as I spend too long in the first half, I miss the part that starts the legato lick at the end that everybody's waiting for.
Yeah.
And then if I miss that start and I mistime that start, then the whole thing falls apart.
Sure.
And I just got to laugh it off again, like I do when I mess up all the other times. But you know,
that's all you can do.
But no, I think that one definitely is the most stressful and grueling one to play, because I have to think about singing the chorus and then immediately transitioning to that. So that one's definitely most challenging.
Wow.
Okay. I say you guys definitely do. I know when we saw you guys at Richmond, we talked about you guys after we left. We're like, yo, they did Voodoo Child so well. The second you guys started playing it, Joe, our guitar player, he and I literally like locked eyes with each other. We're like, they're really gonna do it. They're really gonna do it. And then you guys went and did it. Like, and that's all we did. The whole like 20-minute car ride. Joe and I were like, did you see that? Did you see that?
They
like,
really
they
did.
So good. like they really like killed
They
this
went
shit.
there.
Did you see that?
Yeah,
I will say though, shout out to your
We
cover
tried.
part, Sharp Dressed Man. That was my favorite. I think
That's
you guys like absolutely knocked that out of the park. That's a fun
That one has a
song.
really interesting story, actually. That was
Really?
cool.
Like that
It does, because so we had learned it the first time, and we were playing it. So I don't know if you caught that part at the end where we do this like weird reprise
Yes.
where we like time the chords differently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we learned it like 2 months beforehand,
Yeah.
and we were playing it like that the whole time. And I'm like in my car driving, and Sharp Dressed Man comes on,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh my God, we've been playing this song wrong the whole time.
It's like, wait a minute, hold on.
Right, we've been doing this wrong the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought it to the band practice, and I was like, well, wait a minute, this like could actually kind of be cool if we like play it right, and then we end the song with this like sort of like weird backwards feeling, but I feel like it adds kind of like a climax to the song. For us, I think that was really important, especially in a number like that where it's pretty straightforward like the whole time, you know. But that one's definitely one of my favorites to play.
Yeah, I like that one.
Love it.
You guys did very nice on that ending part, especially because again, that was another one Joe and I talked about that. We're like, it was very interesting that they had that in there, and we're like, it's kind of cool, even if it's like a happy accident. It's really cool to see how some of that stuff kind of just happens, and it's like it works and it sounds cool.
Right.
We're gonna keep it, and it's gonna be great.
Right. Yeah.
So then, like, all right, so this would be more like a bucket list thing then. So like, let's fast forward, like looking at like 20 years in the future with you guys. What is your goal with this? Like, what are the things that you want to kind of just be like, when I'm done with this completely, what do I want? It was like a venue you guys would love to play, but like, you know, it can be awards, it can be just playing to a certain crowd, it can be touring with, I don't know,
You're just
Van
hitting
Halen
the entire.
or-
You're hitting the entire spectrum here. Like what? Like, how long have you sit down to think of these questions? Did you do all your homework before? Like, this is like.
Yes, I did my
Oh,
homework.
okay, all right. I mean, it's a fair question. I'm really surprised at how well prepared you get. Bonus points. I mean, you might be working yourself on the payroll pretty fast.
Ooh. But yeah, so like, yeah, for both of you, I mean, I'm curious to see what it is, because you guys may have two different viewpoints there, or maybe you guys have discussed like what the ultimate like tier list of like things you guys want to chop off the bucket list as you go, and like
Just trying to
what's
cause
your lasting,
controversy. Okay.
yeah, like what's your lasting impact on the world that you guys want to do with this?
I think for me, aside from just like the basic stuff, like being famous and cool and going on tour and
Aside from that,
etc., I want to, I definitely want to get into writing some of my own songs and putting them onto our, albums, and sort of,
Good goal.
even if I'm not singing, I would like to take more of a, like a creative position on some of these songs, and
Yeah.
sort of spearhead a couple, and then, just to know, like, I don't know, to have that feeling of like, okay, I did this and brought this to everyone else, and
Yeah. Yep.
I'd like to see us have, the dream for me at least would be to have one of those like, generational albums, whether we go on tour or not, or somebody like, even if we don't, and then people in 20 years pick up this album and it's like a, alt hit, and, they go back, like I think of like Pinkerton, like from Weezer, where they released it and everyone was like,
Yep.
This isn't that good. And then, everyone goes back later. So I think having a lasting impact, like creatively and musically, to me, is more important than, having, and I do want to experience that in the moment. Like, down the line having this, fun ride of touring and stuff. But the ultimate goal for me would be to leave something that people come back to for a long time, and enjoy.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that in my case, I think that I've already exceeded many of my expectations in this.
He's done. He's done. Retired now. He's good.
I always laugh about this because I remember when I came to these dudes and I was like, hey, like, let's do this thing. Like, my goal was like, let's just make it into a bar and let's play for a night and just be like, we did it. So, I mean, a lot of this stuff for me is it's really icing on the cake to even have an opportunity like this.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I think that in to like directly answer that question, I think for me it's just I want to compose a series of songs, right, with people that have a series of collective creative input.
Okay.
That when we go and play them, we can play them for whoever it is, doesn't matter what the audience is, where we can all turn around at the end of the set, look at each other, not have played a single cover, and been like, yeah, we just did that, and that was totally unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, at least for me, just be like, to put together, to at least convey the same energy. I mean, last night when we played Carib Rock at the end, and we learned this thing to a T, like note for note, and it's just like the energy, like I want to feel that same energy that somebody who writes a song of like that caliber would feel when they would be able to play it and be like, I came up with this.
Okay.
But for me, I don't even know if it's like a bucket list thing about playing like a crazy arena or like some crazy club. I think for me now it's become strictly creative.
Right. Yep.
Because suddenly now I've unlocked this whole entire new plane of things to think about. And like all of the, I mean, I will say I'm in the we actually have been working on this. We're in the process of putting together this newer song, and it's way more technical than the other stuff that I've put together, and I'm definitely pushing myself in some aspects. But I think that it's definitely something that like I laugh about this all the time with my parents and with Nicole and stuff like that. It's like, I mentioned earlier that I'm like the most critical person that I know. And I'm always like, this stuff that I write, it's okay. I mean, I don't, whatever. Like it's something.
Yep.
But this one that I put together, I remember I had this like moment where I was sitting in my room on Logic, listening back to it, and I'm like sitting there, and I was like, dude, like, whoa, like this is like powerful. Like I felt like I had. I had actually like maybe put something together that I was like, I might actually be like proud of.
Yeah.
And that for me, I think it's like the same way that, like somebody goes to a gym and like gets a pump, it's like for me, like that's that kind of like feeling that I'm like sort of chasing. But then like, I think my ultimate goal is to just sort of extend that feeling through like the collective creative process to like everybody. And everybody's like, we play through a song, and like the drummer's like, yeah, dude, I came up with that drum beat and it totally worked. And I was like, I came up with that solo and it totally worked. And, like the bass player is like, dude, I wrote that ripping bass line and it totally carried the whole song. Wow. To come up with something like that, I think for me is honestly, that's my goal. Because now like this whole entire thing is completely shifted to a whole new plane.
So this is what I was telling Justin about with you guys being so different and very unique, and you guys are very wise. You guys are not looking for the material things. You guys are just guys playing music, and you guys are having fun, and it's just about the creative outlet. That's a big thing. I mean, you guys even said, you're like, yeah, it's cool to do, if we get to do on the tour bus and live that kind of life. Like, you guys have acknowledged that, and nobody wouldn't want to pass that up. But you guys are it's about the music, and that's it's seriously, it's crazy. Again, having you guys be at this age, fresh out of high school, and being this humble, this kind of
super
level
rare.
of like professionalism and
Yeah,
having this kind of mindset. It's very
agreed.
it's not a common thing. So
It's
to
so
have
rare.
that, yeah, like I don't any fool would be stupid not to if there's an offer to be put out, but like, oh, like let's put these guys on tour. Like you guys are the guys. Like
Yeah,
you guys are the ones to do. Like I would push I don't know how many people aside just to have you guys go be on a tour or something with a big band or have you guys be like a headliner in a tour because you guys carry yourselves much better than
yeah.
a lot of other bands and that's not undeniable. I mean, like anybody I've talked to that's seen you guys or just people I've talked to and just in general, I'm like, yo, you guys got to see these guys. You guys don't understand. I'm like, these guys genuinely are like very mature. They have their heads on straight and like it's just crazy. And obviously the talent is there. The talent is the biggest thing.
Right.
But
Yeah,
again, you guys are just top notch, phenomenal guys.
yeah.
So honest to God, cannot wait to see just what the new year is going to be for you guys in 2025.
Right. Well, I wanted to echo that too because my sentiments are exactly the same. It's the talent and the music obviously are important, but as we said earlier too, talking about the foundation of the group, you guys work well together. If you're setting yourself up for success by the fact that you have that professionalism at such a young age, and again, I've been around for a while too. I've seen it. I've talked to different people. I've seen different groups. Again, I've been part of that band process, so I've seen the pros and cons of that too. But even from the experiences I've had, I've never seen anything quite like what you guys have going here. Which, to me, same thing Austin is saying too is, this has the potential to open so many doors for you guys there. And just the humbleness that is there. And I don't know. It's hard to put it into words, but when you see that, and obviously there's always the same questions, and Adam said too, it'd be great. Oh yeah, to be famous, this and that. That's almost secondary. That's not the true. You really have the true embracing of what being an artist is about, because I'm sure, and I'm just based on what we've assessed and talked to you guys, where obviously you'd love to have the notoriety there, but even if it didn't get to like that superstar level, you are content with knowing that you're putting something out there that's good quality. You're not taking shortcuts with the music there. You're really focusing on the creative process, like Olaf said, which is the huge thing is you want to be creative. You want to unleash that potential there. And even from the song From Home, from the lyrics, like I can tell right away the passion was there. Like you pretty much spoke that before the words even came out. You could see the level of dedication to it. So going forward, we too, and again, this is why we have you guys come on here. We're going to have you guys come back, obviously, too. We're going to follow you guys. And, of course, we offer this. We'll talk more. We're going to take one last break in a second. But any chance you want to share songs here, as long as you guys are okay, we're happy to play that out there if you wish. We'll share it with the audience there, whatever you guys want to do there. We're going to help. We want to put you out on that stage. We want to blow it up to where, we help reach any corner that we can. And at least give you that stardom, because, we've all been there at the start. It's always difficult. And the key factor there, too, is we say this in the podcasting realm, too, and same thing with the musicians there, nobody always seems to be interested in helping each other. Everybody's trying to compete. They're trying to, and let's be honest, in this industry of the arts and stuff, there is competition. Obviously, we're not the only podcast show. There's others. There's other bands. There's other music, things like that. Our message, too, has always been similar, where we don't do anything different than has been done before. We're just trying to put our own staple, our own uniqueness out there. And if folks are loving us, which they seem to, we're trying to be genuine. We're just trying to be us. We don't profess to be the best. Do we want to be the best? Absolutely. I'm not going to shortchange us by saying, we just want to be average. But, we don't have that expectation. We want to ensure that the quality is there, that we provide something special for an audience that's listening. Same like you guys, again, that's where we have that same agenda there. And it's we succeed by helping one another for that. Aside from the cutthroat of the business, and there's so many people trying to step on others, trying to get to that rat race, trying to climb the top there. They're trying to push people aside, as Mr. B saying there, but for a different reason. It's not to be, it's to appreciate the uniqueness that you guys have, and the talent is there. And
Thank you.
And the advice for, again, if you for what it's worth, my advice too for us there is just continue to be yourselves, which you will, and you're gonna have ups and downs. It's gonna be frustrating, but and again, I'm not an expert. I know people in the industry that do that. I've talked to people. I've seen what they see in talent, and which we actually will have, and I will put this out there. I can't guarantee that, but I have somebody who does work there close to the industry. I might definitely gonna float you guys out there to him because. He's definitely got an ear for it. Has been in the industry for a little while, so I'm not sure where the connections will go, but we will talk, and I will share some insights for you guys, and we'll see if we can. They have a platform we can grow even further, if you will, get you out there a lot more. But just because we feel like we have that belief for you too, and we want to help you succeed. So, but yeah, it's truly special. Again, be proud of yourselves. Keep sticking to your guns. Be who you are. We'll be excited to see that too. Obviously, we're coming to the end of this year. Next year affords a whole opportunity. I'm sure you guys have all kinds of things planned there. But we're going to talk just a bit more. We'll take one last break here, and we're going to share some ways that we can connect as we get ready to wrap up shortly here. We can get everybody to share there. We're going to share the links for us because we obviously have other areas where if anybody who wasn't able to listen tonight, you can find us. We have a bunch of platforms you can check out as well. But it's really a privilege. It's special. We absolutely love that. We hope you guys listening enjoy this. Again, we're going to keep plugging the guys here, plugging everybody. We're all trying to work together to all get a slice of that pie there. So this is going to be it, though, for everybody. This is the last break there. We're going to come back, and then we're going to wrap up here just shortly. But great pleasure having you guys here. Just to let that out there before this meeting cuts off again. We'll be right back here in a minute. There it goes. You guys stick around there for the last little bit of information we're going to play coming up next here. And then we will share all details where you can check out the Cellar Dwellars and give you guys some props there and be able to find them, follow them, get the music out there, spread the word. Make sure you tell all your friends. We're going to do our part too to share it and try to make things work well because we all want to have a success as much as we can, and we work on that together. So, but thank you guys too. You the listeners, we couldn't do this without you guys, and we appreciate you and love you and all the support you have for us. So hang out there just a little bit yet. We're going to come back for our final round coming up next. So stay tuned. Do not miss what's coming up next at the What's Up Bro podcast show, brought to you, of course, by the one and only J&J Production Studios, your number one home for true entertainment. We have the special guests that we have here. We do this for you guys. We love it, and we really are grateful, too, for the support. But come on back to see what happens at the end as we close up here. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned for more. Do not go away. Right after this.
Dancing so
audio fans, are you looking for fun and excitement? Have you been searching for that special show? You know, the one complete package you want in a podcast? Then check out the What's Up Bro podcast show and experience what true entertainment is all about. Stay tuned and don't miss the action. Available on your favorite streaming services, including YouTube. Thank you for all your support. And as always, we'll see you at the show.
We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned.
I
Break time is over. We're so glad you stayed tuned. Now back to the action as the show is set to resume.
All right, welcome back, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you're just tuning in, welcome. This is the What's Up Bro podcast show, brought to you, of course, by your favorite group, J&J Production Studios, your one true home for entertainment. We're coming into actually, one second, sorry. We are coming into the final segment here. We're going to wrap up shortly. We're going to give some final thoughts, have the guys give some final thoughts, and get everybody back in here. Actually, I'm going to share I got to start the meeting first. Come on, Sam, you got to get going here. There we go. Let's get this going. Meeting is back. Okay, let's see now. There we go. And maybe one day we'll have this. Yep, they got it. Okay. Everybody's on the ball. Great. Let's get everybody back in here, and then we will chat a bit more. Let's see. Oh, there. Perfect timing. Everybody, we're getting pretty good at this. I gotta say. I think it's kind of cliche, but as the saying goes, which I'm sure we can all agree as soon as we make sure everybody has audio and we're good. There we go. As the saying goes, practice does make perfect. So this is where there we go. We're good. Perfect. We're getting better with this. I have to say, and we had to do it. We had to play the song again because once was just not enough. And of course, as long as you guys are okay with that, we'd love to keep it on there. We'd like to play it for a couple of shows just to keep people invested in that.
Sure.
As long as you're okay, perfect. And again, anytime if you guys want to share anything project-wise, you want to spread the word, we'd be happy to play it during our shows there. Again, with your permission and indulgence, of course. But it's just... And again, I keep thinking of Olaf's line there, is the bare bones. And again, I keep going back to if this is what you call the bare bones of it, and this is usually that means it's not finished. There's more to it. But I'm I can only imagine. And I'm that's why I'm saying we're super stoked to see what you guys come up with because this is pure talent at its finest. I gotta say, it's, and even Austin said it best there. It's true. You guys being so young and having this. The sound and just the vibe and the stage presence. I've seen some of the clips from the shows you guys. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you really got to keep plugging at that, and good things will happen. But and I will say it's incredible that you have something when you find something special like that because really not a lot of people get that. They really don't. It's very, very rare to have the talent and to find the right group of people, like you said in the beginning there. And I was down that road too. When I was looking for people to play with, it's very hard to find people around the same age. I will tell you probably funny story. The biggest offer I got to play was a group of guys who were at least 40. And I'm okay, well, at that time I was 23, so I don't know how I feel coming into a group of, and again, nothing against the age, but these guys have been together 25 years. They all started playing young, and I'm and even to the point, I remember I emailed the leader for the banner, and it was his band, and he's listen, we do go on shows, and we understand there's an age difference, and just so you know, we're not going to babysit you. Well, I don't need to be babysat at 23, but the preface he's getting at is, we're all old guys doing this stuff. I get it, and you're kind of putting me in my place of I'm the young new guy, and I'm not trying to steal the limelight, which I wasn't, but it's you could see where they were trying to hint that we've been together, we've been doing this, and we're potentially bringing you on. So it's better if you can find equal-minded, same age. Doesn't always mean it's the same goals necessarily, but at least it gives you, I don't know, there's kind of a more comfort level. Maybe that's the way to put it. And again, I had some great guys that were around the same age, which I could feel that, but to have that and to launch that, and even for you with Orange Moon Project, I mean, you guys have something special there, and sometimes it's just you got to wait for the right opportunity, or you got to make it yourself, as the saying goes. But there's just something to, and I don't know how else to describe it. Like even we were talking off the air too, how Austin made the comment which I liked. He goes, you guys should consider a name change from the Cellar Dwellers to the Stellar Dwellers. And I'm like, I was thinking that because it doesn't fit, how much potential you have there, but it's just a unique privilege there, and obviously, we want to have you guys come back at some point and share, and even in future projects, we love to keep up. We're going to be following, keeping pace with everything, but before we get to all of these shameless plugging, which we're going to do a little bit of that here too, just give us some words of wisdom. We always say like some final thoughts, but if you could get real with an audience or real with people, and it could be really anything, what would you want to share? Maybe from the experiences you had, maybe that you hope to have. What kind of message would you want to convey? Even let's say to a young fan, if someone says, "Oh, I want to be those guys," I'm the next great Who Wants to Play. What would you share to people like to be inspiring? If you could, what would you say? I know it's a loaded question. Take your time. There's no wrong answers, but just given the opportunity.
I think the biggest thing for me about this is just, I think everybody needs something to be passionate about, like whatever it is, if it's music or anything else, just like having an outlet to be motivated and driven to do something like a lot and get better at it.
Yep.
Like the biggest thing for me with this has been like the progression of playing and getting more comfortable playing and getting more creative with playing. Like, and I don't think that's just, limited to music. So I think anyone trying to do anything, just, staying motivated, staying on track, and, being passionate and happy with what you're doing. Like if you're going to do something for the rest of your life or for a big portion of your life, whatever it is, for work, for fun, for leisure, just keeping yourself, occupied with things that are, important to you and stuff that's gonna, the more you like something, the more you're gonna put into it. So I feel like why, get stuck doing, a job or something that you're gonna, give 50% of yourself to because you just want to get out of there.
Yep.
Really put all of yourself into something that you really care about.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think that for me, my realest piece of advice is just to know your why.
Yeah.
And
that's a hard one. Yeah.
I go back to this sometimes because I have thoroughly enjoyed doing many other things in my life, but none of them have ever like come down to this like realist feeling that I like thoroughly believe that I like can actually do something. So like I feel like when I used to play soccer for like the longest time.
Sure.
And I remember I played on like a club team, I did all this stuff, and I played for a very, very long time. And I was super, super heavy into it. And I remember that in my last season, at least my last past season, in my senior season of high school, I was playing, and I realized that like there was just something there that was just telling me that I loved it, but at the same time that it wasn't something that I was like meant to do.
Right.
And that was, for me, that was really hard to like accept because I still do love it, and it was really, really hard to kind of just be like, okay, well maybe we're gonna shift gears and try something else. But I think for me, like every single time that we go to gig or that we come to a band practice, it's like for me, it's like there's just like part of me that just like needs to play,
right,
and that like needs to have that like creative outlet.
Yep.
And for me, like that's my why, is just because it's, for me, it's not about like getting paid, but rather just being like, no, number one, trusting myself, number two, pushing myself, and number three, knowing that that's my moment.
Yeah.
That I've worked for X amount of hours to prepare this thing, and that now I have my section of time where I can literally just, like a man of trade, show my skills and be like, this is what it is, and this is what I am. So I think for me, my biggest piece of advice is just to one, know your why, and two, the most important thing is just like surround yourself with like-minded people. And we play every now and then. We'll play with this local band that are around here. They're called Push, and they play bars around here too. And they're our choral director's husband's brother's band, whatever they play around. So whatever, we get to see them every now and then. And their frontman Steve, which is like he's a very great frontman. They're all people that we admire. And the most important thing that I give to anybody who is thinking about starting a band where they're trying to play with other people is, number one, do it.
Yeah.
Because there's no better thrill than being loud, making noise.
Yep.
And number two, most importantly, play with your friends. Because God forbid that you hit the big leagues, you don't want to be stuck with people that you don't like.
Yep.
And I mean, we laugh about that all the time. It's like, you hear all these stories about these bands. After the gig, they go out and they're like going to all these, like parties or whatnot. We're like, they'd find us on the bus, playing cards.
Yeah.
So like, that's where we all would be sitting around the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my biggest piece of advice. Know your why, play with people that you're friends with. And I think that's really what it is for us.
Well, and it's great because and the same thing for us, and when we did the idea for, just to give you some backstory for us, the podcast idea was just one show idea, which I pitched, and I'm fortunate that we had Big Hoss, who's a good partner for me doing that. We're very like-minded there. But when we started that, I didn't think anything. Again, we did it for fun. We did it because we enjoy it. We wanted to have an outlet. We wanted to help some people. And really it started when COVID hit because, podcasting isn't a new thing, but it took off when, we're isolated for 3 months, can't go anywhere. So probably saw about a half a dozen podcasts popped up, which I'm like, it's the weirdest stuff, from grandma's knitting corner to things about people's cats, so I'm like, all right. But we did it for fun, and we said, look, we invested time, in some cases, monetarily, to do it, and even if it's just a few people, it gives us our outlet, gives us a chance to be creative and expressive and get away from the average everyday, humdrums of life and problems. And we also look at it as we have the opportunity to, we're not unapproachable. We're average people. We're not A-list celebrity types that you can't come up to us. We're just regular people that we hope to share experiences that might, same thing like with music, motivate people, at least if nothing else. But that was the core idea, and it went from a singular show idea to, which most recently we added. Now we are at 10 individual shows that we have for like our own network. We basically built from the bottom up, and that was never in the mindset that was going to happen. We were just having fun with it. We were rolling with it. It was just so many ideas came out. We're like, we need a show for this. We need to give special time to different topics so that we're not like, trying to cram all this stuff in. But but it's true. It really is. The why was the key thing, and that's the question we always asked ourselves: why are we doing this? The first couple of shows were raw, were not the best, and we had like 0 listeners to begin with. And we get asked this question. I've been asked this question many times, and I've interviewed this question. And have you ever thought about quitting and giving up? And my first answer was, in the beginning, like every day. Just because I'm sitting to myself, it should be fun, this shouldn't be stressful, but it feels like we're making this more work than it really should be. And, we're not seeing much. We don't expect to make $1 million overnight, but we'd like to see some growth. We weren't getting that. So then you kind of like, I need to rethink my life. Is this really, is this really worth it? Should I keep pushing that? But even just like this we've only been doing this as like our second full year, but even this past year alone, things have just been naturally happening where, we've tried different things. We've had people reached out. One of our biggest dreams was to have our own website, but we had a trouble with that. somebody actually reached out to us and said, "Oh yeah, by the way, we have this for you. They made it for us." Which initially we're thinking, well, this can't be real because nobody does nothing for free. They want something. But we saw that, we worked with it, and we're like, wow, doors are starting to open. We're starting to see, we're collaborating with other artists doing different things. We're starting to get noticed. Our followers on social media have climbed through the roof. Now it's starting to pay off a bit, where we're like, okay, this can be fun. And again, we're not super rich from it, and maybe we never will be, but we've at least conquered that, and we know why. And anybody always says to us, is it worth it? Because every day they challenge, why struggle with it? I had the same question when I played music too. It's because I love doing it. That's why. And I could be rich and famous, or I could be dead broke, living in my van, and maybe barely playing to eat. But that's where I agree. I think that's the most important part in that aspect. So definitely agree with you there. And I see we have Mr. Beast taking a break there. I don't know if he can hear us there. He can't say anything, but I wanted to get his take on that here. We'll give him a second to see if he comes back. But while we wait, so let's share with everybody. And again, I'm sure there's a lot of places there. So I like to play this game of let's pretend, and we obviously know some places where we can find you, but let's just say for the sake of argument for the audience, where can the audience find these Cellar Dwellers? Where areas can we? Social media, streaming platforms for songs. Here's your shameless plug. Go for it. Sell it.
Yes,
No
absolutely. So, most importantly, we have our Instagram and Facebook, and that is our Instagram handle is Cellar Dwellars Music NJ. That's CELLARDWELLARS Music NJ, all lowercase. No spaces. That's on the Instagram. And both forms of social media, both the Instagram and the Facebook, have links to everything else.
Okay.
So through the Instagram and the Facebook, you will find a link to our website, which is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is, hold on, it's on the Facebook.
Nope, take your time. We want to get it right and make sure it's the right area, so go ahead.
No, absolutely. It is Cellar. It's the same thing as the Instagram handle, but so cellardwellersmusicnj.com.
Okay.
So there you can find our bio and some cool photos and video of some other stuff that we've done. And then most importantly, on both pages, you will find links to buy tickets and to see our schedules and stuff. And Nicole and I are constantly posting updates to, upcoming gigs and whatnot, stuff like that. Okay. So though that link is there. We have a YouTube, which is it is Cellar Dwellers, the Cellar Dwellers Music NJ. We have a few clips on there. And then last but not least, we have a SoundCloud, which is just called The Cellar Dwellers.
Okay.
And you'll know that it's us because of the picture of the gnome.
Yep. Very distinctive.
And then other than that, all the helpful links are found on both the Facebook and the Instagram. So as long as you find one, you'll find everything.
Yep.
And that... What?
Probably try and get Spotify up too at some point once we can figure that out.
That's the kind of the goal too. Like we're pretty much, and we've shared the link with you guys, all of our link trees there. You guys can hear this once the episode's off. We're on iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud. We have the YouTube channel. We have the merch store. We have all this stuff. But it's a thing to get this all together, which we will coordinate with the guys here too. We'll make sure we share the link. So if you guys want to find it, check us out. We'll share all that stuff and make sure you point you in the right direction. Same thing again, we'll be playing the song throughout. If you have more you want to share with us, by all means send them over. We'll be happy to give some teasers there. And one other note we do have, and if we want, and we offered this to OMP as well, if at any point, actually that's one last thing we want to talk about too. I want to feature because I do have a note here about the shows coming up, which we want to mention that here too as well. But at any point, we like to do giveaways for ourselves, for the listeners on the show too. So if you have available and everybody's want to, we offer that to OMP. Like if you have extra tickets that you want to, I don't want to say donate, but if you'd like to have us to do a giveaway, we'd love to raffle them per se for listeners who would like to come out and listen. so we can coordinate with that for you guys if you would like to as well. And then we'll get some Mr. B comments. But now I have a note here from my producer, which is actually me. But I wrote it down from your manager there. So you have, and I'll let you guys do the promo because you do this better. You've got 2 big shows coming up. So tell us, where are the Cellar Dwellers going? What's coming up down the road pretty soon, actually? Where are you playing? When, where, why, and how? Shoot.
Yeah, absolutely. So most importantly, our next biggest gig, which is actually a big bucket list item for me because I just happen to live right up the street. So super cool. We were playing Roy's Hall on November 29th. That is, for all you college students listening, that's on Thanksgiving break.
Yes.
So
no excuse not to show up.
No excuse not to come and hang out.
Exactly.
But the ticket link will be up soon. And there's 186 seats in the house, and we're hoping to sell it out. And then after that, on December 28th, we are opening for a band at the Sherman Theater main stage again, which is very exciting. The guys are absolutely thrilled about that. Really, really super excited to get back to that big stage in that big room, and the cool lights.
Yeah, we love it.
We love the lights.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Well, yeah, who doesn't? The limelight they call it the limelight for a reason. So, that's the whole point of that. That's awesome. And we will, you guys know too, we have the photos we can get for that to share with the dates on that. We'll share that for anybody who's interested. We will tag everybody there. Make sure you don't miss it. Gonna be an awesome time. And again, really stellar for that. I'll let Mr. B give, since you stepped away so rudely interrupted everybody. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, yes.
Just some final thoughts or any tips of advice you want to share, and then we'll get ready to close things up. Anything you want to say or think of that's off your mind that I give you free reign now that you can't be fired for that, but just be mindful we are on the public airway, so just saying.
So definitely no advice. If anything, me and my guys would be taking advice from you guys. Because you guys have done a phenomenal job, just from the time we saw you guys the first time to now. You guys have really the trajectory has been nothing but an incline. So you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. So congratulations, congratulations on playing for the November 29th date and and then the one in December. I'm sure probably you guys can't tell anybody yet who the one is at Sherman yet that you guys are opening for, or can you?
Oh, he's trying.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to disclose that
it's all good.
Don't get them blacklisted. Let's not go too far.
No, listen, I'm not trying to cause bro.
Nah, you're good.
Let's do this. We'll say this. If we see it, if you guys share it out, if it can be released, then we will piggyback on that, and we'll make sure everybody knows.
Okay, sweet.
When it's appropriate. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
But
you see what he does? He gets you guys. You guys don't even have a chance to play it. You're gonna get them blackballed. They're not gonna be welcomed back. Will you not do that?
Anybody would be a fool to turn these guys away.
Oh, I know, but there are legalities to certain things. You got to be careful not to overshare. So this is why he doesn't manage you guys. So,
speaking of managers, I did want to say, I wanted to give a shout out to Nicole. I hope she's listening. She is absolutely
she's wonderful.
Amazing. So for anybody that knows the Cellar Dwellers, Nicole is the behind the scenes person, and she's absolutely fantastic.
Very important person behind the scenes. Yes, yep.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful team between Nicole and the Cellar Dwellers. So I just want to give her quick shout out because she's done an amazing job. I mean, seriously, between you guys and her, you guys are an unstoppable team.
Yeah, you're going places. It's gonna be special. Yeah.
So, I guess I have one last question for you guys. When's the album? When's the next single?
Oh, the big question. Okay.
Yeah, when's the next song coming out? You got me excited with Home, so I need some more.
We lucky enough. The kid that came and we had a few people come and fill in with us just now at the Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was the man behind the kit, Mr. Ethan Mahalko. He and I both go to the same college.
Mm-hmm.
So I see him all the time, and he's a music recording major. So a while back, he needed to do a project where he was going to record an original song, and it was like a 2-hour tracking session. So we went in there and we did one of our originals with him. and I have it, and it was a really, really cool, like interesting test run to kind of see like the dynamic of, you know, how we work in the studio, and being in there and stuff like that was really, really super cool. But so he said, he mentioned to us that in the spring semester he has a final due.
Yep.
And he has to create an EP of 3 songs, and he so graciously asked us to be the band to come in there, and he said that he will produce us. So
nice.
We're super, super stoked to have that opportunity and to get back in there at CCM and do that and work with those guys. And just a huge thank you to him for just having us in there. And so if not through that, then I'm hoping to keep plugging away with the stuff that we're doing.
Yeah.
And hopefully within the next couple months, you know, we might push out another demo or two, just to, you know, test the waters with some ideas that we have. And but other than that, I think that if there's going to be any kind of formal release, that it's going to be probably at some time early next year.
Okay.
Book it, date it. There you go. You heard it here first. There you go. We have it.
I'm trying my best. You know, we're trying our best over
That's
here.
That's all right. Listen, he's asking the hard questions, so I'm trying to be chill. He's being the business guy tonight, so I'm just trying to keep it real and fun. But that's a good question. So that's awesome. But you know, again, and it can't be overstated, and we mean this in all sincerity, but you know, we appreciate you guys being here, Olaf and Adam. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We definitely want to give our best to the band. We're definitely going to have you guys come back at some point. We'll be in touch. We're going to keep tabs. We'll share more stuff, and we'll continue to work that. We want to hear from more. And, of course, thank you to our new friend here, my old friend here, Mr. B, hanging out with us tonight. We'll have him come back, too. But it was really an honor and a privilege. We wish you guys well going forward, and, you know, just can't wait to see what's going to happen down the road, and we are going to continue to plug that. It'd be awesome, but thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate it, and we hope you'll come back soon.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Austin, for coming in.
Austin, thanks for hanging out, dude.
It's great to see you.
I didn't have to twist his arm too much. I was able to. He's like, you know, I wasn't going to come on, so you got to come on, man. So you know, it was team effort, but I got him here. But yeah, it was awesome. It was great. But we look forward to doing it soon, guys. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll share the links with you guys listening. We'll make sure we get it out there. We'll hear more. You'll want to hear more from the Cellar Dwellars. Stay tuned coming up. And remember, those shows coming up soon. We'll post links for that, too. If you can be there, check it out. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. And, of course, we'll keep up with Orange Moon Project as well. We're going to be sharing things about them coming up, too, and plenty more down the road. But that's it for tonight, guys. The Cellar Dwellars, special guest. One more time, a round of applause for everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for listening. We can't do this without you. Same thing. We do it for the fans just like anything, whether it's podcasting or music. It's all about the fans. It's about you guys. That's where the support comes in. That's what gives great artists the ability to do what they love to do. So thank you all for listening as well. We wish you all a happy rest of your weekend. We appreciate the support, of course, and for all of us, obviously, here at J&J Production Studios, we look forward to having you back again very soon. We say goodnight to everybody. Farewell for now. But, of course, and as always, you guys know, until next time, when we see all of you, hopefully all of you live at the show. Good night, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the What's Up Bro show. Catch all the latest live action on your favorite podcast streaming services, including Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. You can also check out episodes on the studio's official YouTube channel. Subscribe and become a member today. Don't forget to also turn on notifications so you'll know when new content is uploaded. Stay tuned and don't miss a single moment. We love and appreciate all your support. And as always, we will see you at the show.